Can I have battle kits, please?
Yeah. All right. We are live on both Twitch and YouTube. I had someone request that I go over my builds for my expert adaptive Ironman run, so that's what we're going to do. And we'll do this while we head to Pits DLC in Filtron, which is right here. We have 27 combat units. Spalder. We have 27 combat units. 3 of them are animals. Everything else is a human of some kind. Let's start with my captain. We'll just go down the list. So my captain for this run was Sir Terror. It's a level 17 fighter. Currently is shooting a T5 crafted weapon and T5 helmet and heavy armor as body armor. Using the Defender's Roundel, which after every single attack smacks an enemy with a quick shield slam. And the belt item I'm using is Blinding Glare, so as long as this unit is engaged, his attacks completely ignore armor. Or ignore guard, sorry. Ignore guard. His build is Fighter. Level 3, we chose Valorous Duel. Counterattack for level 5. For level 8, we took Hardcore Training. And then Defensive Riposte at level 10. At level 12, we chose Class Specialization. And originally, we were, I believe, using, I think, Last Stand. And then we respect into Engaging Strike when we got to level 15. So that's his pretty much, a look at his build. We kind of went with Strength, 15 willpower, some crit, and some movement. We need to put additional movement because of the -2 movement on armor. Ludic is pretty much a copy of Terror. He's got a few different skills. Mainly he's a bard. Terror is a woodcutter. On this unit, we are using the T5 helmet and armor. We're using a T5 sword. And this guy has the counterattack Alizarian Heater Shield. And he's using leather straps, which increases his guard, which currently is useless on him. So let's put something different on this unit. Do I even have any gear? I don't think I do. I don't. I'll have to find another solution for him. And let's, I guess, make that right now while I'm thinking about it. Give him a Legionary's Oath, I think. Increase his damage even further. So with this, we'll go to belt accessories. We will go with, I guess I could give him more movement as well. It increases damage. Legionary's Oath is pretty good though. Give him that to increase his damage. He's also a fighter. We took Defensive Stance and Valorous Duel on him. So every time he takes damage, we get a Valor point. Every time he engages, we get a Valor point. Level 5 is Counterattack. 8 was Last Stand. 10 is Intervention. 12, the Class Specialization to get Defensive Stance. That's his build. Next we have Rajanon, which is a build I'm not too familiar with. This is a brawler using T5 armor and helmet. It's heavy stuff. He's using a paladin shield, which gives flaming strike. It's got a lot of defensive stats on it, and it's great for engaging. He's using the Urkashet's mace, which gives guaranteed critical hits if we have more strength than the target. And on this unit, as a brawler, he does light damage to a target, and then if it's engaged with an ally, that ally instead engages this tank, and then the ally gets a attack of opportunity. When we upgrade the skill, it gives ambush, which applies vulnerability, which is a guaranteed critical hit by the engaging ally. So if this guy pulls aggro off somebody, the other person gets a crit guaranteed. We use Valorous Duel because he's a tank. This skill, Head Bash, is insanely strong. At the end of their turn, deal 67 health damage to the nearest target. This guy can straight up headbutt somebody to death. I've seen him do it. It's insane. Down here, we have Guard Breaker, so he completely ignores guard, and Overwhelming Presence. If this unit has more armor than the engaged opponent, their attacks are always critical hits and apply confused. So this guy, if he has more armor or if he has more strength, his headbutt is a critical damage strike against the enemy. And oftentimes he just straight up kills even tanks with a headbutt. It's pretty impressive. Intervention, also tank, swap places. So if there's two allies, we can engage one. Our friend gets a crit, kills that person. We can go intervention and then get an attack of opportunity. And then at the end of that turn, if that unit is still alive, we headbutt them and kill them. Very interesting tank. I kind of like it. It's very strong. Class specialization, we choose Overwhelming Presence at level 12. But Guard Breaker first, and then Overwhelming Presence after. Taurus is our tier leader. He is a support unit. He is a heavy armor tank, so we have T4 helmet and shield. So we need to upgrade that. He's using a Varmail shield, T5, and he's using a T5 axe with Unstable and Brave, because he only strikes one time, so if we can get a second strike from Unstable Oil, it's even better. And then we're using a mix of defensive stats to get him to 80% damage reduction from guard, and he is immune to burning. Over here we have Sentinel, which is excellent, especially early game and mid game for giving everybody on the team, double move speed as well as riposte, which allows them to strike back if they get hit. On this unit, we go Valorous Duel early game. We go Recklessness because he has one attack, and we want that attack to hit as hard as possible, often one-shotting some enemies without high guard. Level 8, since this guy is a support unit, we use Battle Cry to give 40% damage to our entire team. Hey, Zaku. It's afternoon here, but good morning. 10, we choose Alacrity, which this skill is insane. I use it on a lot of my units that can choose it. Alacrity says this unit has a 25% chance to dodge ranged AoE and melee attacks, and sometimes they will dodge 2 or 3 attacks in a row. Very cool. And every time it goes off, it feels like your unit is a badass. Level 12, we have Class Specialization, which we go back and choose Defensive Stance. Since this guy's a frontline fighter, we just throw him in the middle of combat, let him get beat on, and he just generates Valor points for us. That's pretty much his rundown. He's mostly defensive stats, so pump strength, a little bit of crit, a little bit of movement, because we double his movement almost every time we use him. And yeah, it's mostly just pumping strength here. Maybe even Constitution or Willpower. Already a build walkthrough? Pretty much. Someone asked me to go over my builds for my current in-game party. So everybody's level 17, and I'm just going through what they all do before I jump back into the pits. I need to put oils on this. Do that in the pits. Jump on this guy real quick. I guess it's a good thing I'm going through the builds because I can see where some people need things that they're missing. I've already found a couple things that were subpar or not good enough. And let's go unstable. Loring Gig. This is another weapon that I'm not too familiar with. I've been playing with it. It sounds really cool. It's got a very unique ding to it when you use it. This guy's using a 3-star Defender's Plate. Got critical hit damage on it. And Paladin's Gallia, which is another critical damage increaser. These are just 2 items that I had. I didn't have either one for a set, so I decided to just put what I could on him to get as high as I could on the defensive stats here. He's also using a Defender's Roundel. Smack the enemy every time I smack them with anything. And we're going to keep the leather straps on him because he'll only have 72% guard when he's engaged. This guy is also a fighter. I really like this class. Again, Valorous Duel, 5 counterattack, 8 hardcore training, so he's immune to status effects. 10 defensive riposte, so I can disengage and strike the enemy if I get a lucky roll. And then class specialization, we go in for defensive stance for Valor generation. Vidorat is our wrongdoer that we captured, mainly for the looting experience buff. The whole troop's critical damage is increased by 30%. That's his whole reason for being on the team. And he is a heavy armor user with a T5 mace using putrid and strength oil and a Ulfark's kite shield so that we can do a vulnerability shield slam, which often crits. And then the vulnerability gives us a guaranteed crit on his weapon attack. And often these can kill at least 1 unit, maybe even 2. And 3 if someone is low enough for Wrath. Tharwill is a foot soldier that we got for level 17. Not much of a build on this guy. He's just a prisoner that we freed. He's using a Peacebearer's Roundel. His weapon completely ignores guard. And then he's using medium armor that I found and a heavy helmet. So he's not really a build, he's just kind of a thing that I have. Inquisitor Arya is probably one of my favorite brawler units. This is a medium armor unit. It's using T4 helmet and armor, so we could increase that. Using a T5 mace and a Ulfark's kite shield, which gives the buckler strike, giving vulnerability. So she can guaranteed kill 1 unit with the vulnerability strike, and then she often hits with unstable oil, giving her additional attacks of opportunity. She's a brewer, so she has crit and constitution at the cost of willpower. Her willpower is only 15. She is a smasher. And we choose Valorous Duel here, which is not too ideal because she has AoE attacks, but I do like her as a one-handed weapon user, and Valorous Duel is the way to go with that. You could also opt for defensive stance if you're thinking you're going to be taking a lot more hits. Thank you. Have you considered sacrificing hardcore training for protective overlay stamp, which makes you also immune to debuffs as long as you have armor? Protective overlay. Let's take a look at it real quick. Protective overlay. Guess I don't have protective. Oh, there it is. While this unit has armor, applications of poison, burning, or bleeding are ignored and converted to damage. Interesting. That is an option. You could do something like that. Kind of wild. I don't know how they convert to damage though. Kind of wild. That's a good suggestion though. Where were we? Valorous Duel. At level 5 on this unit, you could go either Armor Breaker or Cruelty. Both are good. Damage and crit on Cruelty is really, really good. And Armor Breaker in the early game, if you're trying to punch through enemy tanks, is also really good. If she does destroy an enemy armor, she gets double her movement and 30% increased damage. Level 8, we go Guard Breaker or Ignoring Guard. 10, we go Defensive Riposte, so when she does engage, if she doesn't kill, she can disengage and get the kill. Class Specialization, whichever you didn't pick up here at level 5, choose the other. Also, if you have the Master class or the Brawler class unlocked, Head Bash is probably a really good option instead of Armor Breaker here, but I do love the additional movement. You could even choose Cruelty and go Headbutt and just straight up kill the nearest target by hitting their health directly. Level 10's defense, and yeah, we got everything here. She's mostly a mix between strength and critical hit. She's got really high critical hit. I want her to take people down. And she often gets 3 or 4 kills on her turn. Pretty solid unit. I always pretty much build her this way, and she's been fantastic every time. Tyrion, this is my blender build. Using the Nephtes Axe, a Defender's Roundel, and looks like we got T4 helmet and armor. We're using Bleeding Oil Concentrate as part of the build. I got a complete build guide on this guy on my channel. You can just go to my channel and type in Blender. It'll come right up. For his gear, we have him as an Executioner. And then Valorous Chain. Every time we hit a group of enemies, we get a Valor point. At level 5, you would choose Recklessness first. At level 8, Challenging Shout to bring everybody to me. And then I can spin to win. Level 10 will be Alacrity, allowing him to dodge attacks after he brings everybody to him. If anybody survives or if he's in a group of enemies, he just dodges everything. It's pretty awesome. Class Specialization, come up here and take Madness and do additional damage against enemies with lower than 75% health. And because we are a bleed build, usually we can trigger bleed on somebody one time and then Madness is in effect, increasing all of our next damage. Pretty serious. Yeah, that's it for that build. And we mostly go a few points in strength, 15 willpower, low movement, and critical hit as high as you can get it. Captain Cleance. This is a guy I was doing some weird stuff with. This is a AoE one-handed swordsman. I've been kind of playing with this unit. I kind of like it. I just need a better weapon for him. He's using medium armor. Apparently it links together. Skalmar armor. For the weapon, we're using Gladius of the Eye, which gives Hollowed Strike, which is an AoE attack and creates a fire under the unit's hit. It's a one-handed sword. For the shield, we're using Ulfark's Kite Shield, which gives vulnerability. So if anything survives the AoE one-handed strike and then the AoE 2 strikes, we still have a Kite Shield to re-engage or kill. For this unit, I am a Swords Master. So after I attack once, I get to attack 2 more times with that ability. Valorous Chain allows me to get 2 Valor points from using my skills. Hey, Evident. Somebody asked me to do a build overview, so it's been, you know, after Thanksgiving, everybody's ate and everything, so I'm just going through my builds real quick. Everybody's level 17. At level 5, I would choose, if you need more tankiness, go Bulwark. If you don't, go Daring. It still gives you tankiness in the form of damage reduction for the enemies. But this character is super tanky. He goes in, he causes a lot of mayhem, and then he just stands there and eats a whole bunch of damage. Level 8, we get Last Stand, increasing his damage by a little bit. At level 10, I decided to go Second Weapon, which I almost never do. And this was a bad call on this unit because he can't use his basic attack more than once. So you can't use his attack, swap weapons, use his other weapon. So this is a wasted skill. I would recommend either Defensive Riposte or Intervention here. I think Intervention would be a better call because as an AoE unit, he doesn't engage very much. So I would respec this unit and choose Intervention here. Level 12, Class Specialization. I chose to go Bulwark to make him even tankier. But you could also choose to go do something else. Like Engaging Strike could be interesting, but this character doesn't engage, so I found that to be useless. You could also take Hand-to-Hand Combat, giving him a way to take an enemy unit that's problematic out of the fight for 1 round. So you hit them with a disarm, they lose their weapon and their armor. When it's their turn, they just stand there and shrug. They can't do nothing, and then pass. So that would be a good option instead of taking Bulwark if you want more offensive power, or you could take Counterattack. And I was just playing around with this character just to see what the build would feel like with a one-handed Swordmaster. Leideric is our Grinmere rescuee from his horrible family life and brothel life. We've reformed him into this crazy duelist. So he is medium armor, wearing the criminal set. He's got an Alizarian counter shield, and this guy is all about riposting. He's also using a weapon called Glory that we've given 15% damage from opportunity attacks, as well as Brave Oil to give him Valor Point generation. We're using Champion's Buckle on him as well, so if we start with less than 2 Valor Points, we get up to 2 Valor Points instead. This guy's build is a Duelist. After Duelist, we go to Valorous Duel, because every time we engage, we get a Valor Point. We choose Counterattack, so that we get Riposte with him at level 5. Level 8, we go Master Opportunist, increasing the damage of his opportunity attacks by 50%, and reduces incoming attacks of opportunity by 50%. Right now we have a opportunity attacks deal 128% of his weapon damage. So at level 10, we go Defensive Riposte. Anything that has Riposte on it is what you take. Class Specialization, we go up here and choose Daring, giving weakening to our enemies every time we hit them. And this is pretty amazing. If you don't care about this, you could choose to go Engaging Strike. And another opportunity would be, instead of Brave Oil, you could take Exhaustion Oil, which will daze the opponent. So every time they try to do attack of opportunity, it deals 0 damage instead. But this guy takes reduced damage from opportunity attacks, so it's not that bad. Daring's pretty good. Once you get level 15, Engaging Strike would be better. And every time this guy gets hit, he can have a counterattack from his shield. If you choose to have the helmet that gives you counterattacks, you could have the helmet stamp that gives you counterattacks, so that would be 2 ripostes. And then if you have counterattack as a buff, that's 3 counterattacks every time an enemy engages you, and you pretty much kill any unit that you come in. How do you unlock Duelists? Duelist is unlocked from the Grenmere province. You have to come up here and beat the Hovendorp's arena. Once you beat that, you go to the Roost Field and talk to someone there, and they unlock Duelist. Kestrel, this is my first Berserker on the team. We went with the Victorious Axe, which is guaranteed critical hits if the enemy is burning. So she's using the Aesthetic Oil to cause burning, and Sharpening Oil for additional critical hit damage. We're using T5 helmet and shield, or helmet and armor. And we're using a Defender's Roundel, so every time she hits, she bashes them in the face for a little bit of damage. And she herself is immune to fire. So we'll set people on fire, be immune to fire, and we laugh as they burn, and we burn. They take damage and we do not. So at level 2, you choose Berserker with this unit. Great skill, one of my favorite skills, especially early game. It's so high damage, it's ridiculous. At level 3, you'll choose Valorous Duel, because when you hit them with your main hand or your Berserker Axe, you get a Valor point back. So it allows you to basically use Berserker even if you have no Valor points. Level 5, you'll choose Recklessness. That means the first skill you use, either your main hand attack or Berserker, does 150% increased damage. Level 8 is Battle Cry, so you can increase your damage at whim. And the damage here, we're actually missing a class from this unit. We're missing the class unlock from somewhere. Need to go find it. Level 10, we choose Alacrity, because when this unit goes in, we often use her to go into and snipe the enemy commander. And then she just stands there surrounded by a bunch of enemies. And Alacrity is great survival because she completely dodges all attacks coming at her by 25%. And we go for Madness to increase damage after our first hit to the enemy. She is often built with mostly strength and crit. Willpower, just get enough to get 15, and then movement, about 16 to 18. Focus on crit and strength. Ciri is interesting. She is our sword master. She's a tinkerer, getting 12% increased crit. Start out as a sword master. Get the Valorous Chain to get Valor points on AoEs. We went counterattack here, which is kind of useless on this class. But when they do get engaged, you can disengage, take a hit, and counterattack, often killing the enemy outright. So counterattack is what I would choose at 5. Level 8, Last Stand. If you have any damage to your armor, you gain 30% increased damage. It helps with the riposte counterattack. So when you disengage, you take a hit, you get 30% increased damage, and then you riposte. Level 10, go to Intervention. Gives you an additional thing to do on your turn. And you can often kill the enemy outright with that attack. It's Barbarian class for Warrior, which increases your damage even when your enemy is at full health. That's right, thank you. Class Specialization, level 12. And we chose to go Daring so that when she does her AoE attacks, if the enemy does survive, we weaken their damage by 50%. On her, we stacked a lot of strength and crit. We got some movement and willpower as well. And we give her a crit item to get her crit even higher. You want to get as close to 50% as you can, or higher, without sacrificing too much damage. Imbert is one of the most powerful classes I have currently on my team. He's using Dagon's Hammer, which is a massive wide area arc swing, hits 3 times. if you hit more than one enemy. We're using a medium helmet and armor from Skelmar, which increases his critical hit chance and damage from opportunity attacks. His belt weapon is the Trophy of Legends, which gives him a second base action. So basically, this guy on the first round of the fight can use his basic attack, the big AoE swing, twice, and it's insane. Reddit and other guys says not to put stuff into the main stat, strength dash, just do like 22 movement. What do I think about? What do I think about doing the movement, 14 willpower, and crit? I don't like just going 14 willpower, 15 willpower. I usually like going at least 16 because there are going to be debuffs to your team when people die. When people die, they lose willpower in like the 3 or 4 willpower range. So if you don't have enough willpower to counteract that debuff, you might just lose somebody accidentally. And as far as not putting damage into your main, points into your main stat, that's a preference. I like being able to actually do damage, and I often try to raise my strength on units that are underperforming. Like if the unit is a straight up DPS unit and his role is to eliminate single targets that are problematic, I want that damage to increase gradually, because once we get to a certain level, the enemies are going to outlive their damage, and that's when you want to pump some strength back up. So if you notice on like my Kestrel build, whenever enemies started surviving their attacks, like nothing should survive his rampage. Like nothing. Once it ignores guard, it should be able to kill tanks, medium units, and light units. The time that it stops killing medium units is when you want to pump the damage. It's okay if the tanks live because they got a lot of armor and health, but if the medium units are living, or if the leaders are living, you want to pump your damage a little bit more. So I think it depends on the build and the class and their role. Typically on support units, I put my points into other stats instead of main stat because they're not damage dealers. And we'll go over that here in just a second when we get to Hacker. Baron is a prisoner from Skelmar. He is a Huskarl. He's one of the tanks on that team. This guy was just kind of a quick snatch once I saw that he was level 15 or 16. I took him just so I could get my team to level 16 using Thief. And the same thing for Tharwil. Once I saw a level 17 unit, I captured him and made all my units level 17. That's why we're level 17 right now with Thief. So with Baron, he is a unit using a single unit two-handed axe. I wanted to try this out, see how I felt about it. It's okay, it's not great. Someone in chat suggested I put the small gauntlet on him, so I'm trying that out to see how I like it. And he uses heavy armor, and I didn't really have anything too good, so I'm just using some Bobo armor with some increased damage and crit on him. So he's not very good. He's even got dexterity, which is completely useless on him as a class. So he often fails to one-shot units, and every time you one-shot somebody with this axe, you get to use the attack again. So he's only good for like cleanup or killing light armored units. That's about it. Ninmara is insanely strong. This is a halberdier. It's a special class you unlock from the Arthas region. And you unlock this from the main town of Korchia in the church. There's a guy there that after you beat the arena will give you the halberdier class. For this unit, I'm using the Liberator Spear. And the only reason I'm using this is because not only is it high damage, but the kill the weak skill is insanely good. We're using this with Sharpening and Unstable Oil, so she can get free attacks. The Kill the Weak skill says that it'll do damage and forces the target to disengage. It resets the skill if this unit was already engaged to the target. So you take Taunt on this unit, taunt the enemy, attack them with your base skill, and you'll get to use it twice. You can often kill 2 units with this skill. We're just using T5 helmet and armor for the medium. Her armor layers are unique. This unit is a strength stacker, so we just stack as much strength as we can on her. And for the brooches, we are using 3 different brooches that give 30 strength altogether. So each one is 10 strength each. So her armor gives plus 30. Her weapon is plus 110. And it gives her a base of 140 strength just from her equipment. And she's at over 200. And she's got a sizable amount of crit. She's got low movement. And that's okay. I'll show you why here in a second. And we're using Stiletto on her to pump her crit just a little bit more. So in this class, we want Valorous Victory because every time we kill a unit, she will generate a Valor point. And we often use her as like a second commander to just kill a bunch of stuff real quick and generate 4 or 5 Valor points. For 1 Valor point, you get Halberdier as a skill. It gives Controlled Whirlwind. Controlled Whirlwind as a skill. And it says, deals 60 damage to all units in an area and pushes them back by 2 meters. When you upgrade it, it does damage increase by 121 for each unit in the target area. So if you can hit 4 or 5 units, that's 400, 500 extra damage on top of the 60. That's like 180 damage per unit. It's quite insane. I've seen her hit as hard as 13,000 damage across 5 units. Kills them all instantly. I've seen her hit a single unit for 2,800 damage. So it's pretty insane. I've probably even seen over 3,000 on her, to be honest. This unit's nuts. It deletes 4 or 5 enemies just with this skill, and then it cleans up with everything else. Level 5, we choose Sweet Spot to give anything that survives our hits destabilization. So anything she hits is going to have no armor left anyway, but just in case, we destabilize them, making all damage after that 100% rather than reduced. If you choose not to go Sweet Spot, you could also do Exceptional Company really doesn't help on this unit. Fervent Support, you're going to be solo most of the time after you use your abilities, so this is kind of useless. I really feel like Sweet Spot's the best thing, because if you upgrade it, ranged attacks also have a 40% chance to be critical hits. 40% extra chance to be critical hits. So right now she's got like what, 40? She's got 39%, so that's 79% critical hit chance with ranged attacks, and this counts as a ranged attack. At level 8, we go Harnessing Strength for 10% increased damage for each bonus applied to this unit. So that's kind of nuts. So every single buff you have on this unit increases her damage by an additional 10%. That's why her damage is so wonky when it comes to hitting 4 or 5 units, because we get 4 or 5 buffs on this unit, and then we go hit somebody for, 600 damage, and the crits on these can be just massive. Straight up one shot most units in the game. Level 10, we go Unstoppable. That way we can just move in to a group of enemies wherever we want, do our whirlwind, and then just move out to a safe spot. At level 12, class specialization, we go Alacrity. She's not going to be able to move out every single time, so the times that she stays behind to hold her own, she can survive with dodging attacks, and she has survived lethal hits because of this. Alternatively, if you don't want Alacrity or Unstoppable, At 10, just take alacrity, and at 12, you can take prepared. Yes, preparedness. So when this unit is off by itself and it is not engaged, they get fury and riposte. So if anybody engages them, she kills them. And she's mostly strength, and it's pretty awesome. This guy's kind of a weird build that I'm currently testing. It's not fully done yet, but it's going to be a small gauntlet build, and the whole point of this is to have 0 armor on this unit. Once he has 0 armor, his weapon becomes a huge AoE in a 3-meter area, and it ignores all guard and all forms of damage reduction. So, the whole point of this guy, he's going to take a bunch of damage, he's going to lose all his armor, and then we're never going to repair it, and then he's just going to be an AoE unit, kind of like Ninmara, but he's going to have 2 uses of his skill, because he is a Mariner, which is a freed prisoner that we have, and the Mariner gets visualization as a passive. At the start of the round, if this unit is not engaged, they gain double blow, which means that this unit can use their base skill twice. So he's going to be like a blender that we can use twice. Maybe there's some more spearman people. They always said they were mediocre. No, Halberdier is the strongest spear class in the game. Halberdier is insanely strong. Bragg, this is a Slayer. I could recommend Pugilist. This is the best class by far. It's great at sniping units. It's great at dealing 14, 15, 20,000 damage to a single target. So the way this person is built up is single target removal, high damage, boss slayer, colossal slayer. So if there's any huge like creature with thousands and thousands of life, this is going to be your unit to take it down. I think our final fight with the beast at 15,000 HP, she dropped it to a little under 2/3 life by herself. So she did like 6,000 or 7,000 damage to it. It was pretty impressive. So this unit is using T5 helmet and armor with colossal reinforced layers of the Falcon, which is a +4 dex, +6 crit. So altogether it's +12 dex, +18% crit hit. She has a buttload of dexterity, 187. She has a buttload of crit, 65%. Moderate movement, around 16 to 18. 15 willpower. And that's pretty much it. Her weapon is the legendary Pirates of Balerion weapons, Sipper Katar. This is from the pirate ship. The little box on the pirate ship gives you this treasure of the ancients that you have to research, and it gives you this weapon. This weapon is fantastic because it's the same thing as opportunistic burst. Let's see if I can find that real quick. What did I do with it? I don't have it on my character. So opportunistic burst is a blue weapon that you get from fighting bandits. And in the defensive stance, it's the same thing as the attack stance here. Attacks 1 additional time for each debuff applied to the target, maximum 5 hits. So the legendary weapon has the 5-hit strike on the attack stance rather than the defensive stance. And on this unit, we use unstable oil and conversion oil. Conversion oil is just because this character is a glass cannon. If she takes any health damage, she can heal herself back to full with just a couple of attacks. And we're using Legionary's Oath. Damage is increased by 5% per attack executed until the end of the turn. And this unit can attack 27, 28 times, something like that. Let's look at her build. Level 2, you'll take Valorous Duel because it is a one-on-one character. So duel is all you're going to do. Valorous Victory would be okay, but most of the time you're going to be killing a single unit, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 if you're lucky, but Valorous Duel is what I've chosen. Usually I don't get to use Valorous Victory here. I pretty much use this to take down any high level, high HP unit, high armor unit. It's great at killing champions in arenas. The giant Creeper King in Dromback. The Sea Serpent. Bears. She can man versus bear every day, all day. So Valorous Duel at level 2. Level 3, you're going to choose Slayer. It's a light armor pugilist. It's going to have arterial precision, which deals a low amount of damage twice, applies bleeding, poison, and corrosion. And the reason it doesn't matter if we're in attack or defense stance here is because of the ability coming up in a few seconds. When you upgrade this, you get ambush if the ally is engaged in combat. The ally gets an attack of opportunity. So as long as you hit somebody in the back with this, your ally gets to strike as well. So level 5, you get focus, which says the first attack of each round applies all stance effects. So we usually use arterial precision first, giving bleeding, poison, and corrosion. We do stance mastery for 20% increased damage because we're always in attack stance. And level 10, we choose unstoppable so that we can get to whatever target we want to get to. These other ones don't matter. Unstoppable is the best one here by far. Level 12, you choose the Thrashing Bravery, which hits 10 times each attack, increasing the next attack's damage by 20%. And in an attack stance, it attacks 5 additional times. And in defensive stance, it heals you for 3% of your max health. So you'll never use this in defensive stance, you'll always use this in attack stance. So basically, this unit hits 2 times, plus an attack of opportunity 3 times, if it procs. And then we go the weapon. We hit 5 times with the weapon, going to 8. Attack of opportunity 9. You could also choose you could use One Step Beyond, which you lose 30% of your life to use another base action, which is another 5 hits. Or you could do Brutal Frenzy, which every 4 attacks you perform, you get an attack of opportunity. So that'd be like double unstable oil, basically. So we have 9 hits on this character so far, and then with Thrashing, that's an additional 15 hits. With an attack of opportunity, 16. So 16 plus 6 plus 3, so 25. 25 hits. And every time you hit a target, you do increased damage the next hit because of Thrashing. And we do 5% increased damage per attack until the end of turn with Legionary's Oath, and we get 10% increased damage for each debuff applied to the target. So she does a tremendous amount of damage. It's insane. It's a lot. You can really stack these characters all kinds of ways, really pumping the damage. And I'm not sure if having a flat 20% damage increase is better than the additional attacks. Because every 4 attacks, and if you hit 25 times, that's 29 attacks. So Brutal Frenzy is probably better than Stance Mastery here. And One Step Beyond, I wouldn't choose that. Fatal Touch is interesting. It's great for like last hitting enemies that have a lot of HP. But the only ones you're going to run into with that amount of HP where this is actually useful is arenas or big bosses and things like that. So it's not very useful in actual fights too often unless you just want a second thing to last hit with. More for utility, I would say, than the actual damage. It's harder than Wrath, though. I can tell you that. It's a fun unit. I love that unit. It's very surgical, and it does a lot of damage. Hackert's kind of interesting. I actually need to respec him, to be honest, and I can't do that here. So I just did a build guide on this unit on my parallel account. So this guy, he is a support character. He is not for combat. So this guy, the Skalmar knife, is not a base action. So you can run weapon swap on this character and use the knife and your other weapon in the same turn. So how I would build this character is one-handed weapon, torch, or you can use a legendary offhand if you want. Helmets and armor is just whatever highest armor you can get on your light armors. Defensive skill here, I would recommend something other than what I'm using. Don't have anything good here. But for the weapon swap, I would use a Tactician's Dagger, which if you ambush an enemy, the allied unit gets an attack of opportunity. And then the Skelmar knife, you stab an ally in the back for 10% of their maximum health. You give them 20% increased damage, and they attack with an attack of opportunity, which deals an increased amount of damage by 25%. And if it's an animal, the opportunity attack is increased by 100% instead. It's very cool. It's very niche, and it's great on a support unit. And it works extremely well with weapon swap. So this unit is going to use Valorous Audacity, ending turn next to an enemy unit, or you can choose Valorous Support, ending turn next to an ally. At the end game, I would go with Valorous Support because there's not going to be very many enemies left too often for you to use Valorous Audacity. But either one's fine. Level 3, you choose Strategist, however you want to say it. It's light armor, and it's got Smokescreen, which forces the enemies in the area to disengage. Their engaged opponents on your team get attacks of opportunity, and you can use this to last hit 4 or 5 enemies at a time. Enemies that are not engaged are knocked back by 2 meters. Level 5, I choose Instinctive Throw. This is one of the best skills in the game on a ranger, because if you're close enough to the enemy, you throw a dagger and then you reset your movement completely. So it allows you to traverse the entire battlefield multiple times over. And on this support unit, you're running around, you're throwing smoke, you're stabbing people, you're, stabbing friends in the back, and you just get that movement reset so you can run from one end of the field to the other wherever you're needed. And it's super strong. I have a guide on this build as well on my channel. At level 8, you choose Low Blow. This applies blackout to all enemies in the area. So basically, you have a 6-meter point-blank area of effect. You throw a smoke bomb down. It blinds everybody, and then they have a 50% chance to miss their next attack. It pretty much takes about 25% of the enemies out of the fight by itself. This passive here, we respec that to something else because this is useless on this character. At level 10, we choose weapon, or second weapon. And we would use Tactician's Dagger with the Skalmar knife as the 2 weapons. And then at level 12, class specialization, instead of Cold-Blooded, which is useless, take Deadly Contract. Deadly Contract applies a debuff to the 2 nearest enemies, and then those enemies, when they die, transfer that buff to another enemy. So it basically gives permanent debuffs to the enemy team until everybody's dead. Fantastic. So I'd recommend Deadly Contract over Cold-Blooded, and Second Weapon over Anticipation. And Scalamar Knife and Tactician's Daggers are the ways to go. And change out the belt buckle to something else, like movement speed or crit or just something. And you can also put helmet items like Legion Charisma. Whenever you deal a critical hit, allies adjacent to you get brutality for 1 round. Or something like that, where you have some sort of buff to a nearby ally whenever you meet X effect. Those are great on support units like this. Adelise, this is my Cutthroat. She's one of the better classes as a ranger. I often recommend starting with a Cutthroat, and then your second ranger should be a strategist. Level 2, we chose Valorous Victory. Early game, you'll choose Valorous Audacity, because Valorous Victory is kind of hard to pull off early game. You can always respec when you get to like mid-seas or in-game. When the unit starts killing a lot of people, that's when you want to swap. Level 3, choose Cutthroat. Whenever you attack the enemy from the back, you perform 2 additional attacks. If you upgrade the skill, when you kill an enemy, you can reuse Fatal Blow again. So you can just constantly go from unit to unit that are engaged, killing them all. Level 5, Instinctive Throw. Usually you're going to have enemies grouped up, so when you kill somebody with Cutthroat and get the reset, you throw a dagger at a nearby ally or a nearby enemy and reset your movement to go to the next target and stab that person in the back. You can just keep that going over and over and over again. At level 8, you'll choose Cold-Blooded, which will increase your damage of attacks from behind by 35%. Super strong. Level 10, use Unstoppable, so you don't have to worry about going around enemies. You just go through them like a ghost. At level 12, we come up here and we choose Ordeal. Every time this unit attacks a bleeding or burning or poison unit, it also applies 2 fever. It's really good for when you attack them in the back the first time with Cutthroat. Those 2 additional hits can usually finish the unit off. Fever increases damage taken by 5% per stack. So the first hit, you hit them, they take 10% more damage. Second hit, 20% more damage. Third hit should usually kill them. And that's pretty much it for this unit. And her stats are pretty much all dexterity and crit hit. 16 base movement. And then we use +2 movement from her armor. So 16 on her is fine. And with the amount of resets on movement we get, her movement is inconsequential. It's all about getting crits and dexterity. And if you often eat the right foods and get maximum crimes and punishment to level 12, you'll often be at 90+ crit chance. Maybe even 100%. So that every time you backstab, it's a crit. Very strong. One of my favorite units. Romanor. This is a high damage artillery unit for dealing with groups of enemies in mass. So this is an AoE archer. I've been using this as an AoE archer since the very beginning of the game. You can get a bow called the Mudsling bow from the Sagittarius in Alizar. The Alizarian Sagittarius units that shoot mud when they fire their bow. It's a large AoE, and you can use that early game, even though it's a white item with very little damage on it. You can use that to lock down entire groups of enemies on the field early game by slowing them down with mud. And if you put the, what's it called? Paralyzing oil on that bow, each time a skill deals damage has a 50% chance to apply slowdown. So you shoot a group of enemies with mud and slowdown, they can't move. They just can't go anywhere. They just stand there and stare at you. So you just lock down an entire group of enemies early game. That's 1/3 of the enemies you don't have to worry about. You can clear everything out that can fight your units, and then following round you can kill all the units that are slowly walking towards you. So that's the early game for this character. Late game, we get Valorous Victory. Early on, you'll choose Valorous Support. And we go Hunter. Hunter shoots a high damage line attack to all targets, pushing them back by 3 meters, and applies slowdown to the first target hit. And then at 5, we choose Precision Attacks. Every 2 attacks, we apply Vulnerability, which is the next attack is then a critical hit. That can be your allies triggering the critical hit, or Romanar, your archer himself can trigger that, but it also gives him 50% increased damage on the next attack as well. At level 8, we're going to choose Easy Prey. This is from the Marksman line, and you get the Marksman from Ludern after doing the arena. You go all the way to the north. There's a fishery there. You talk to the guy, and he gives you Marksman. And then Easy Prey. It increases damage by 50% against targets that are not adjacent to any other unit. Which at the very start of the game, or at the start of the round, nobody's touching each other. Easy Prey, it's easy 50% damage. Is the blue shield in the skills compendium stuff that relates to sailing? The nautical wheel? Yes. This is all from Pirates of Beleriand. At level 10, you'll choose Lone Wolf because you're going to walk forward, be by yourself, blast a buttload of people for a shit ton of damage, and an extra 10% don't hurt. I often recommend in the Endgame bow. This is a bow from Pirates of Beleriand. If you don't have Pirates of Beleriand, you can use the Sagittarius bow or any AoE bow that you can find, like the Flaming Bow. The Flaming Bow has a much smaller area of effect, but the Pirates of Beleriand bows are massive. These have 14-meter areas. That is a huge circle. It deals a bunch of damage and it knocks the enemies back. So with this, I chose Explosive Oil and Propulsion. Explosive Oil has a 50% chance to explode, dealing 50% of the damage dealt to nearby enemies. I recommend with this build, take Quality Projectiles off, which is a 10% damage of shooting attacks. You can take this off and substitute it with Explosive Oil Concentrate, which gives your area effects attacks 100% chance to explode, dealing 50% of the damage to all other enemies in that area. So when you hit 14-meter area and hit everybody in it, they all explode, dealing 50% more damage to each other, and it often just kills everything outright. You can often hit 5 or 6 enemies with this shot, and then you can also hit 5 to 7 enemies with your recoil shot after using aim. So you increase your area of you increase your range, and then shoot a line shot all the way through their enemy troop, and it just hits 6 to 8 enemies, and it makes them all explode. It's beautiful. And then, since this bow knocks people back, I have Propulsion Oil on this, which when it knocks an enemy back, they have a 50% chance to get destabilized, reducing their guard to 0. So that's what this unit does. Let's look at the abilities here. So we're going to go Valorous Victory late game, but we're going to go Valorous Support early game. Hunter, Precision, Easy Prey, Lone Wolf, and at 12 we choose Suppressive Fire, which blankets a 32-meter area for a low amount of damage, but because we have Explosive Oil, they all explode, taking 50% more of that damage to each other. And it also applies slowdown, which also makes them so they can't move, which is fantastic. It halves their damage. So that's this unit. I often use him to start the fight, and in some cases, at some level breaks, like 14, 15, you can start one-shotting all the enemies. He often does like up to 1,000 to 1,200 damage at this point with his bow attacks. So it's pretty freaking cool. Bolt is a gunner class, and this unit is nuts. So we use the tactician's bicocket, which just gives range. So you want a range helmet or range armor. Light doesn't really matter with the defensive stats. Oh, I forgot to mention on Romanor, for his armor layers, you want the 10 dexterity armor layers from Pirates of Balerion, giving him 30 extra dexterity for increased damage. Same thing with Bolt. You want 30% or 30 increased dex with his armor layers as well. And then he's using a crafted crossbow, and on his second weapon, he's using an Alizarian crossbow, which when he destroys an enemy's armor, he reloads and gains 20% damage. And then he's using quality projectiles, which increases his damage by 10%. And I think that's it. And here we go with Valorous Victory. Early game, you'll choose Valorous Support. At this point in the game, he kills 7 units. 6 to 7 units at a time. Gunner, if you've never used this class, it's quite hilarious. It's probably the most broken class on crossbow. And it does a low amount of damage, but it attacks 1 additional time for each reload during the round. And then when you have an upgraded version of this skill, consecutive shots are critical hits guaranteed. So the way you start this character off is you will trigger the reload from the crafted crossbow, take your first shot shooting twice. If you end up getting a crit at level 5, you get solid grip. The first crit, you reload and gain 20% increased damage. Shotgun class is terrible. It is horrible, and I do not recommend. Any class that lets you shoot one time sucks. Engineer is absolutely trash. Can only fire once per round. So you can kill 1 unit, maybe, or you can just kill 7 units. I take the 7 units every time. So you always screw up the reload conditions. That's fair. So you reload, you take a shot, you get 2 shots. If you crit, solid grip reloads again, so that's your second reload. And then at 8, you'll take optimized movement, but if you are leveling this character, optimized movement doesn't do anything until 10. So this is kind of a wasted skill unless you want to take masterful movement and then respec into optimized movement at 10. But you'll take optimized movement. If you're leveling, this is a useless skill unless you have your combat spilling over into multiple rounds, and then it's okay. But if you're just going for like 1 round and done, this is a useless skill until 10. At level 10, on every crossbow build, you'll take second weapon except for engineer, because engineer is trash. So for machinist, cannoneer, scorpion, and gunner, you'll always choose second weapon, because crossbows don't count as a base action when you shoot them. So you can use both your weapons. You can run in, punch somebody. You can look around if you're in a cursed village. You can trample somebody if you're on a boat. You can lift somebody up if someone's hanging off the edge of your boat. So you have a free action after you've spent all your shots And if you don't have anything else to do, you can reposition so that you can run back to safety or run to another part of the map to help out your allies. And what else? And level 12, you'll choose recoil reducing grip. Each round, if this unit uses its basic shot 3 times, they reload and gain 20% damage. So between my Alizarian weapon, or my guard weapon that destroys armor, I get 20% damage. Recoil reducing, I get 40% damage. Solid grip, I get 60% damage. And then every shot after my first shot is a critical shot. And every shot in addition to those shots is also a crit. So my first 2 shots after I reload and shoot, those can be normal. And then every shot after that is crits for the rest of the unit's turn. So it's stupidly broken. This unit can solo arenas by itself, including the boss, on like 90% of the arenas in the game. Very strong, extremely broken. Highly recommend it. And also, you can use aim to take out the enemy commander at the start of a fight without having to do much effort at all, which is insane. And this can kill full tanks with its last 2 or 3 shots, because you'll shoot once, and if you're reloaded 5 times, it's 6 shots for your last 3 shots. So it's pretty stupid. And all of those shots are crits, often doing like 200 to 300 damage. And lastly, we have Stan, who is a machinist. I mean, it gets confusing if you don't understand that what weapon you're using, because in the bottom right corner there's a little passive screen that shows you all your buffs. If you swap weapons, it'll show you the buff for your crossbow and what the conditions are of that crossbow. So machinist. This unit is using the crafted crossbow and a legendary crossbow called Revenge. Correct, Zach. You want, on the gunner, you want the basic crossbow. And then something else with a condition. Revenge says, first time this unit deals damage to a unit that has not yet played, they reload and gain 20% damage. You want range on both the helmet and the armor. And this unit is using Dex crit layers and has Legionary's Oath. Every time we deal damage, it increases damage by 5% per attack executed until the end of turn. I believe this counts both the shot and the explosion for consecutive shot as 2 different attacks, because this unit's damage goes real wonky real fast. And I've seen this unit do 50 damage on the first shot and 2800 damage on the end shot to a cone of enemies, just killing them all. I've seen this unit delete entire sections of enemy forces. This unit can kill 10 to 12 people if built right. She is a Tinkerer with 9% critical hit chance right now. Once you get to Master Tinker, it's 12%. And we use Valorous Victory, getting a buttload of Valor points on this character. Machinist, which is unlocked after you beat the Skelmar DLC and then go back into the arena, and then go back to the military academy there and speak to the guy that's left standing there. And just like the gunner, we choose Solid Grip. First time you deal a crit, reload and gain 2 aim. Since this unit has a consecutive shot, well, this unit has Scatter Shot, which creates a cone explosion after you hit your target. And then consecutive shots create a fire underneath all the units in that cone. You'll take Solid Grip. One of those hits is bound to be a critical shot. So you'll get a reload there and gain 20% increased damage, so that'll be 40% from the legendary crossbow and solid grip. At level 8, you'll choose optimized movement. Typically, I don't unlock this unit until the end game, so it'll probably be level 12 plus before I unlock her. And then at 10, you're going to choose secondary weapon. At level 12, you'll come back up here and choose recoil reducing grip. After we shoot 3 times, we gain reload and 20% damage for a total of 60% increased damage. And every shot we take increases Legionary's Oath by 10%, I believe. Because her damage just jumps astronomically. And that's pretty much it. You can see here at the bottom, this little icon. These icons show up in your passives on the bottom right of the battle screen. So when you swap your weapons, you'll have the Valor reload on the bottom bar. And then when you swap to a weapon that doesn't have
a new follower,
that doesn't have the Valor reload and has a condition, that condition will be a passive on your passive bar in the bottom right. Renee Kittendorf, thank you for the subscription on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you. And I think that's all of my units. My Ferocious Wolf is using 3 equipments with 10% strength, Collar of Solitude, increasing its damage if not next to an ally, and inflicts increased damage to armor by 30%. And I chose plus additional equipment, self-sacrifice, giving fragility to itself and protection to an ally. Allows it to lick its own wounds, so if it's got debuffs on it, it'll just heal itself, which is fantastic. Natural Born Hunter, I often choose the choices that passively give us food, so as we explore, we just get food for days. Howling at the Moon, after attacking this unit applies Scared. That's fine, or Primitive Reflexes is good too if you want survivability. The Scared feature, I thought it was going to be better than it was. It's not really that great. The Scared debuff gives this unit causes an extra 10% morale loss when they die. It's not that big of a deal. It's kind of trash. I think I'd rather have the defensive Primitive Reflexes as a defensive opportunity. Keeps the wolf alive. So that's the breakdown for that unit. My Ferocious Bear died horribly. So I can't show you that build. Ferocious Boar. This was the first time I've ever used a Ferocious Boar, and God, are they strong. They are very strong. I put 10% strength on him. I put the Juggler's Collar, which is the most broken equipment item for an animal in the game, which basically gives them a second base action, which is the same thing for animals as the thing I have for Ember here. It's the Trophy of Legends, but for animals. And you get that from the County of Arthas at the very bottom, at the very south end. There is the Heretic's House, and behind the Heretic's House on the hill is a lone statue with this massive boar. And that boar is probably one of the hardest bosses to kill in the game because of its damage reduction. You have to deal like 20% of its maximum health, or you can't hit it. So, Collar of Loyalty gives Valorous Victory. Every time this unit kills an enemy, I gain 1 Valor point. So when I first got this boar, it was murdering people left and right. When I got the Juggler's Collar finally on it, it was insane. Let me show you why. So, level 2, take +1 equipment. Level 3, Thick Skin, reduces the damage taken by 25%. We made it a carrying capacity boar rather than assigning it to the campfire. I just wanted the extra carry weight. At level 8, we get Truffle Boar so that we can get mushrooms while walking in forest. I had a really hard time in this playthrough keeping mushrooms with all the food stuff that I was creating. Or you could get Hairy Creature. Every time this unit receives a critical hit, it gains riposte. Super good in combat. Both of these are at level 8 are very good. At 12, we choose Harmed and Dangerous. After taking a hit, This unit gains 5 angry. Damage is increased by 20%, stackable. So every hit, this unit gets 100% more damage. And often can end up with 400 or 500% extra damage. You just run it into the middle of combat. Round 2, you can just run over everybody. Yeah, that's one of the beasts that the Slayer can't kill, unfortunately. That Eurythmices or whatever his name is, he's a tough creature to kill. And if you can't kill him in a single round, he will murder your people. He does he was doing like 350 damage when we fought him. We fought him at like level 12. It was pretty bad. And then I got a Plague Rat. Plague Rat has training collar. I got this from either a Skelmar or I got this in a tomb, and I've had it since. We use Snooper. This unit has a chance to find cheese when visiting places. That's just the cutest thing ever. I love just collecting cheese by walking into a building. It's great. Level 5, Call of the Swarm. Calls 1 unit of its type. Can only be used from 50% health remaining. I've never seen this proc. But, sure. I don't have multiples of this unit, but if you do survival of the species, it reproduces more rats at rests. If you have 2 or more of them. Level 8. This unit has Rage at Night, Nocturnal Growling. I went with Cannot Die from Bleeding, Poison, or Burning. So I feel like that was pretty good. I didn't want it to die. I wanted to keep my rat alive for cheese. And then level 12, Immortal. Instead of dying, this unit survives, but they have a 70% chance to dodge every incoming attack. Otherwise, they flee battle. That ability is insane. So after it triggers and it goes into dodge mode, the enemy will throw like 4 or 5 attacks at trying to kill it, and they'll all miss because it'll just dodge them all. And then the attack that would kill it, it instead flees the battle. So it's amazing. Like it's insane how the AI will try to murder your rat, but they can't. That's a breakdown of all my units. All of my horses, I respect Poppy, who was a combat horse when I got her, into a pack horse. And all of my horses are full constitution. And they do work pony stuff. So carrying capacity, tireless, plain runner, and at 12 they can use 2 additional equipments, being the saddlebags, horseshoes for movement in the world, and a halter reducing enemy aggression. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these. So that's a 30% movement speed in the world, 30 extra carry weight. Actually, it's 100 increased carry weight because of all the saddlebags. And then it is a 100% chance to reduce aggro range. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just aggression range. Aggression range is reduced by 100%. So basically, they have a 50% aggro range. It can't be 0. It goes down to like a minimum number and then stops. Otherwise, you can just walk through everybody and never get attacked. So that's a breakdown of all my classes. So yeah.
If you want to send your lads into the pit, you'll have to talk to me.
If you are just joining me and you're in the US, happy Thanksgiving. Let's keep moving. Let's go for the pits. We haven't done any of this. Let's do 1 against many. We have to overcome 10 enemy units with a single unit. Okay. Confirm. A single unit, huh? Well, clearly this is a job for Bolt. So let's show you why gunners are so stupid. So we have a bunch of enemies. These enemies are level 17, just like me. 412 HP on a rat, by the way. 700 on a plague ridden. 700 on a stunner. There are a bunch of these guys. Damn. Alright, so we're going to reload. We're going to swap weapons. It says the first... See, this is what I was talking about with the passive being in the bottom right corner that shows you where it is. So if I swap weapons, I know I have the reload crafted crossbow. If I swap weapons again, I can see what the debuff, or what is the requirement to reload on my weapon right here. And if you forget about this, you can always right click and look at your weapon. But you don't need to right click because you have it down here as a passive in the bottom right corner. So we've reloaded. Let's take a shot at... Let's see here. Take a shot at this guy. We didn't get a crit, but now every shot is a crit. So we've reloaded twice. Now he's dead. We reload again 2 more times. So we have 4 more shots, or we have 2 more shots. At the bottom, you have a loaded buff that can stack. We have 2 more shots remaining. So let's shoot this guy. 8 life left. Damn. Come down here, shoot this guy with Wrath. Kill that unit over there. We have 1 more shot remaining. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Give me 1 second. I gotta save the vacuum. Sorry about that. The robot vacuum decided to eat a string of carpet, and I had to unwind it from the brush roller and the little spinny roller. Okay, where were we? I have 1 more shot left. Let's just shoot this guy. We almost killed him. He's at 20% HP. Now, I've got all my shots. I can come down here. And I've moved as far as I can move. I've shot all my movements, and I can still do extra actions. So I can reposition and go here, get away from the traps, and I can pass. Everything's giving Zach. So the ally goes in, hits that unit. You always assume you can't use Wrath with a ranged weapon. Good to know. Yes. You can use Wrath with every skill in the game that can hit an enemy. With every weapon that can hit an enemy. You can't use it with a Skelmar knife, but you can use it with everything else. Skelmar knives are ally only. This unit's going to try to chase me? No? Kills this rat. Okay. What's the Impaler doing? There's a guy back here. I didn't see him. Okay. Now it's my turn. So let's walk over here. Swap weapons, reload. Swap weapons. We can shoot this unit. We got a crit, so we reload twice. Shoot again. And we'll stay here for now. Move up. Shoot this guy. Reload. Kill. How many shots we got left? We have 2 shots left. So I could kill this unit. Thanks, buddy. So we'll kill that unit, and then we will aim. Shoot at that guy way over there. Now he's out of the fight, too. Again, these units had 700 plus life with 20% damage reduction. And I think we're far enough away, we don't have to worry about these enemies. We're just going to pass. They're still fighting. We'll go over and snipe them here in just a second. I'm not sure who would win that round. So we'll come over here. We now have visual on one guy. I can't see the other, so let's run. I have visual on both now. Swap, reload, swap, and blast. No crit. Every shot is now a crit. Killed one. Killed 2.
That was an impressive. Best to strike while the iron's hot. What?
So, for the gunner, I think I've beaten 2 or 3 arenas with that unit solo. Pretty insane. Very strong. The Horde. At the end of each round, if fewer than 3 units have been knocked out, 2 plague-ridden join the fight. All areas of poison spread by 2 meters at the end of each round. Fatal infection. When one unit kills another, they gain infection. After 3, the unit is knocked out of the fight. And Plague Charmer, at the start of each round, targets each unit in the troop and applies Curse of the Rat, Curse of the Plague-ridden, or Curse of the Plague. Okay. This could be interesting since I don't have a unit I would normally use to kill him. Surter, Brag, and maybe Taurus. So in this fight, we have to get to the guy spawning everything through a maze of shit. This is the wrong unit. Okay. So each one of our guys has a different debuff. This guy, if this unit is attacked by a rat, we're instantly knocked out. Taurus has, if he's attacked by a plague-ridden or a rat, he's instantly knocked out. Bragg can't be hit by plague-ridden, and Surter can't be hit by rats. Ain't that a bitch? And our enemy is way up here. We have 3 rats going next. Let's reload, swap weapons. These rats have 400 HP. These plague ridden have 700. If I trigger these flagstones, it'll poison everything, giving it regeneration. Right. This rat. Damn. We're not doing enough damage to kill these things. I have 1 shot left. This unit. Kill that unit. No shots remain. This unit can't be attacked by rats, so let's move back and reposition over to the other side so rats can't reach him. Here is fine. Okay. I killed the rats that were going next, so we get another movement before a rat comes into play. This guy has 4,700 life. That's a lot of life. Rats going next. This guy can't be attacked by plague ridden. This guy can't be attacked by either. So double movement, 40% increased damage. We're gonna go for the kill on the rat here, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Ooh, we got it. All right. Rat back here can't reach us, right? No, he can't. Okay. I think we'll be fine here. We'll pass. He says, and then he dies. Okay, that's not bad. Enemy plagues coming in. Alright. Attack of opportunity, the unit goes. Attacks my commander. Runs away. Okay. Our commander can't be hit by plague ridden. And a plague ridden's going next. We're gonna come over here. We're gonna kick this guy for free. I can't disengage. I have to kill this unit. Okay. And now we're gonna run over here. We can take hits from enemies. We can taunt this guy. Getting an engaging strike and a shield slam. Pass. Let the rats eat on my tank. That's fine. Gain riposte. He disengages. We shield slam the rat. Throws a thing at us. He runs. Okay, so I can't do anything except toe-to-toe this guy with Bragg. Alright. Bragg has Charmer's target. So let's go in. This is my high damage, high caliber unit to kill enemies like this guy. Come in. We're going to hit him with arterial precision, giving him 3 debuffs. We're going to hit him brutal bravado. And now we're going to thrash him. And then Wrath. And he's out. That's about 5 grand in damage right there. We still can do stuff. What are we doing next? We can't be hit by plagued units. I could come over here and taunt this rat, but I think I'm just going to save my unit where he's at. This unit comes down to attack bolts. This is the end of the round. Now bolt can go. Clean up these plague-ridden. Rat's going next. It's fine. Let's go ahead and go with bolts. I'm gonna reload. Can't really see him over here in the corner. Camera doesn't move that far. Second weapon. I guess second weapon really doesn't matter because none of these units have armor. Okay. Reload. Run in. I'll take the poison, it's fine. This guy in the face. Kill this plague-ridden. We have one shot left. We're gonna aim. Shoot at this rat. We're gonna pass. Lastly, Sorterra, you can go in. Kick. Kill. That fight's over.
That was an impressive fight, Moo. Best to strike while the
And these are all at level 17.
What fight shall I sign?
Fatal infection. We have to manage a debuff, and if we stack the debuff too high, we get our unit knocked out. A horde. At the end of each round, if fewer than 3 units have been knocked out, 2 plague-ridden join the fight. Let's do the summoner fight. I think. Let's try this. This fight's a maze that we have to operate to get to the bad guy. Swap weapons, reload, swap weapons. Aim, shoot that guy. Shoot that guy. Run over here. Shoot this guy. Reposition onto this tile, opening up the next room. This thing shoots out 2 rats. Fun. Okay, my turn. I need to get to here. I'm gonna come over here and taunt this enemy. And I'm going to disengage to try to kill it. I failed. Go for the kill. This gives me inspiration. So now I have more movement than I normally do. Come. Here. Maybe I'll have enough movement to get to this pillar. Go for the kill. Disengage. Got the kill. I don't have enough movement to get there. It's too bad. Dead. Go after the rat. Disengage. No kill. Pass. You only get riposte once per fight, or once per turn. Okay, new enemy joins the fight. What's the range on you? You can't reach. So if I go here, you can't reach. Pass. I've poisoned the enemy, so he will die eventually. Our turn again. Door here is locked. I can try moving in with you. Go here. Unlocking the door to the summoner. This thing poops out more rats. Okay. I'm gonna go to second weapon, reload. And shoot this. Get the kill. This thing. Getting some reloads. Can't move. Go for the shots on these rats. Have one last shot to kill this one. I can now reposition. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to pass. Plague Ridden comes in. Heals. That's annoying. Summoner runs like sissy girl. Brings another ally into the fight. We can reach the enemy. Let's do that. Hello. Attack. Engaging strike. Oh, we can't engage him. I see. That's it. Can't engage him. That's too bad. Cannot be engaged and passes through all enemies. We'll just pass. Plague Ridden attack my commander, so it's fine. We have riposte, so the next attack should be interesting. We have an enemy Plague Ridden there. I wonder if I step off, step back on. Opens the door. Can't quite get in to do anything fancy. Let's go anyway. We're going to try to run. We can get there. We're going to hit this guy with debuffs. We're going to beat him to death. Since I did this already, what rewards am I still getting? I haven't done this already.
That was an impressive fight. Best to strike while
There are 25
Shall I
fights
sign you up?
in the pits. Each zone has 5 fights, and each zone has a brutal mode as well. So you have to do all the normal fights, and then you have to come back and do all the brutal fights. And what that does is it gives you access to all the loot here. So you can get special pit weapons that you can't get anywhere else in the game that do special things. This weapon pushes enemies back and gives them immobile. This gives us breaded sausage, which gives us +2 movement and then +3 if you get a delicious version. This is a reinforced layer that gives 15% critical hit chance 15% critical damage. This two-handed weapon gives atonement. It damages the target for 20% of its maximum health. If it still has if it has at least one debuff, the damage is doubled. So this attacks directly to the health of enemies. Briny oil. This does 50% increased damage to bleeding units. So you get the 50% damage bleeding, poison, and fire from here. All the layers are super good. This is a layer that gives 10% increased dexterity and 10% critical hit chance. And you have to do 18 fights for that one. This Pig Great Axe gives Onslaught, which deals 60% strength to all damage in the area, or to all units in the area. For each unit in the area, the damage is increased by 10%, and it's a 4-meter area, so it's a huge swing. To give you context, the weapon on Imbert, I think, is a 3-meter attack. So that big wide swing arc with this two-handed hammer, this weapon is even bigger of a range. It deals a low amount of damage, but it can hit 7 or 8 enemies for 70 to 80% increased damage. So that's pretty wild on an axe. You get this weapon, or this thing called frag bomblets at 22 fights, and this gives you nail bomb, which damages all units in the area for 20% of their maximum health and applies slowdown. And from what I'm told, this item, when you put it on somebody, can also be upgraded with a skill book to do even more damage. So the frag bomblet and normal bombs can be upgraded with skill books. I didn't know that. So if you didn't know, you can do that. And that unit will always retain that upgrade if you use additional bombs in the future of that same type. This gives stuffed fangs, which increases damage by 10% if this unit is fighting at night or in darkness. And there's a arena that's completely in the dark later. Crocswine Musk. If the unit is adjacent to an ally at the start of their turn, they gain brutality. That's okay. Pit Straight Sword. This is a one-handed weapon that ignores guard and attacks twice and gains deflection. So this is an awesome tank weapon. And also, all of these weapons in the pits are rare, but upgradable. You can see it says one-hand sword, rare, upgradable. So you can upgrade these to level 15. Pit Dagger says distraction, deals 90 to 110 dex damage to the target, and the unit disengages if they are not next to an ally. That's pretty good. So you get to hit somebody and then walk away. Inquisition Oil deals 50% damage to burning units. When you get these weapons, no, you cannot craft them. These are singular weapons that you get. You just get the item. You can't craft any more of them. You just get one. And you can upgrade it at the Brotherhood Training Ground. And you can also use blacksmithing to put stars on the weapon as well. So you can 3-star these and upgrade them to 15. And they should be comparable to T5 weapons when you do that. This is a 10% strength, 10% critical damage layer. Yeah, you just get the item by itself, and then you can upgrade on it as you want. At 36 fights, you get 10% strength layer and 10% critical damage layer. And these layers are one-time use. So you put them on something and you can take them back off if you have the Careful Salvagers perk, which allows you to remove layers for raw materials. And then at 38, you get Gladiator Stew, which increases damage by 10% if the target is affected by poison, bleeding, or burning, which is a great food item for my Slayer. The Pit Pike has a Puncture Chain skill, deals 25% strength damage to the target, attacks 1 additional time for each status application on this unit. So positive or negative, you get an additional stab with this spear for all your buffs and all your debuffs. The last attack knocks the target back by 2 meters. Fine-tuning belt item. At the start of their turn, if this unit is not engaged, they gain inspiration and fury, which is at the first turn and every turn thereafter if you use the right unit. It's not a one-time thing. Well, it's an item that you get, but you can put that in somebody and take it back out. It's not, it doesn't get stuck. You can just use it on one unit though. The Pit Longsword has Irrepressible Rage. This is a 2-handed weapon. Deals 30% damage to all units in the area 3 times. The third attack knocks the affected units back by 3 meters. So this is kind of like, it's only a 2-meter area, so it's smaller than the Dagon's Hammer. But it does the same thing as Dagon's Hammer, except it knocks enemies back on the 3rd hit. Infected Oil deals 50% increased damage to poison units. The legendary 48th fight layer is plus 10 guard, plus 50 armor for a tank. 49 is a heater shield with the blow for blow skill. Each time this unit is hit by an attack, they gain riposte. And then at 50, each rest you get Vow of Valor. So the first skill each round requires 1 less Valor point to use each rest. So basically, it's poorly worded, but basically the first skill every round moving forward is 1 less Valor point. So that's, you have to beat all the normal pit fights, and then you have to do all the brutal pit fights to get that. That's all the stuff from pits. What in this food thing that I got? Hell yeah. Let's make some of that. And the brutal fights are the same fights, just harder. Sometimes there's like, on brutal, I think it's like more units. Yeah. Some of the fights on brutal are a little different than normal, and they're all pretty damn tough. I had my Ulfark's Earthprint build, and I was able to cheat my way through a lot of the fights that required mechanics because I could pretty much do unlimited damage as long as I could reach the target. But even in some of the pit fights, I could heal myself, but I couldn't sustain the damage because my damage was too low. It was a pretty brutal experience in some of these fights. The Horde. At the end of each round, if fewer than 3 units have been knocked out of the fight, 2 Plague Ridden join. When a unit kills another, they gain infection. After 3 rounds, the unit is knocked out of the fight. We're not going to take brag for this one. I feel like that would be a bad idea. This is actually tough. No, let's take my brawler and see how this feels. Feels bad. Okay, in this fight, we have all our people over here. And we're up against everything in here. And we have cleansing rats, which remove our debuffs. So this is a puzzle fight. If my unit gets 3 or more stacks of a debuff, it will get knocked out at the end of my round, at the end of my turn. So maybe I try to kill 2 of these. Disengage. Re-engage. Killed 1. I don't really do a whole lot of damage. Over here, we're going to taunt. We have 1 of the infections on him. Pass. This enemy skitters towards me. Okay. Cleansing rats don't have a whole lot of HP. Again, all of these enemies are level 17. Gate riposte. The enemy heals himself to full HP. Because that's a thing he can do. Let's use Bolt to clear out some of these jerks. Swap weapons. Reload twice. Okay, we reload. We have 1 more shot left. Let's go ahead and shoot this guy in the face. Didn't kill him. Okay, let's run back. Could punch him in the face for like no damage. Shoot this guy. Not really. Because of the way that the debuffs work. We are in the line of fire for an enemy unit here. Let's back up. We have 2 debuffs on this guy. We'll pass. We can't kill a bunch of guys and then end the turn because we instantly lose our character if we do that. Cleansing rat is now joined the fight. Okay. We're going to come in here with you. Poison everybody. They take a lot of damage. We're going to use this unit to get the attention, get an attack of opportunity for free. And now we are engaged. Let's go for the kill. Let's go for a kill on this unit. We don't have enough damage. Or we don't have more strength than this guy. He has 251 strength. That's insane. We're out of movement. I say we set him on fire. love the way that sounds. Sounds so cool. Attack of opportunity with a headbutt. We have more armor, so we get a crit. We have to maintain our debuffs. So we have to spare the cleansing rats and use those to remove our debuff in order to keep fighting. A new round is starting. Okay. So with terror, we come in. We still only have one debuff on this guy. Attack. Engaging strike. Disengage. Even if we get hit, we riposte. We get hit, we riposte. Re-engage. Getting the kill. We now have 2 debuffs. Come over here. We're going to taunt this guy, reducing his damage. Engaging strike. Disengage. We get hit. Re-engage. Alright. We're just going to leave it like this because I don't want to risk killing it by accident, because that'll kill my unit. Pass. Enemy runs in. Can't quite get to us though. This guy is still going. Let's see here. I can disengage. Coming here. Kill this unit. Okay. That's bad. If I leave this guy to attack my archer, that's bad. Come over here. Re-engage. I can try shield slamming and killing. We now have 2 debuffs. And I'm going to run down here. Reposition. Here. Headbutting this enemy. Acer Terror does not get hit. He's like in the perfect spot. This dude heals to full. Awesome. We now have 3 debuffs on Sir Terror, so I need to be careful about that. Alright, it's my turn. Swap weapons. Reload. Swap weapons. Over here, we're going to heal this unit. Getting those stacks of poison off. Fire, fire. Fire again. Okay, come over here. Shoot this guy in the face. Still not dead. That's annoying. You have 1 shot left. Move over here. Well, balls. I think I shoot this guy. You reload. Go for the kill. We got 1 more shot. I need to kill a plague rat. To cleanse, otherwise we fail. Keep that. Clearing my stacks. Do I need to reposition? go another round after this. Maybe I stay here. I'm gonna reposition behind this wall. Pass. Okay. The poison is growing every single round. This unit could go next. It is an option. Kill this guy. We now have 3 stacks on this unit. Man, this rat has more strength than I do? Are you kidding me? 179. Damn. Wow. I'm just thinking real quick. Because if I don't kill this cleansing rat, this unit dies. And if this unit dies, these rats can reach Bolt. Still alive? Really? 2 HP? 4 HP. Are you kidding me? Taunt this unit. Our guy's gonna die, but maybe he'll headbutt before he goes. He does. Sucks. Do you know any way to move your skills on the skill bar? Yes. I just saw your question. I'll show you. So on your skill bar, you can just move your stuff around if you have in general, the very bottom under advanced, allow the modification of the skill order in combat. Make that to enabled. And then after you've done that, right click on your unit and there's a little reset order button. So if your skills are all out of whack and they're all over your bar or they're on multiple bars, right click and click reset order and it'll put everything on the one bar for you. So I have to kill the cleansing rat or this character dies. Alternatively, I could use Bolt and finish this out probably. So let's do that. Swap weapons, reload. Swap weapons, and start blasting. GG.
That was an impress to strike while the iron's hot.
The Horde is the last one. Less than 3 units have been knocked out. Keep going. Let's try... Try Invert. Yeah. Yeah, I need to make like a tips video on new players coming to the game. Just be like, hey, do these things to make your life easier. I'm sorry, how many enemies are there? 5, 7. 10, 11, 12. 12 enemies. Put you over here. And 3 enemies are going next. And we have to be careful not to get next to these cages, otherwise we take damage. And they're all spread out to the point where I can't really hit a bunch of them. It is annoying. A bunch of these guys are going first. These guys knock us around. Beef tips video? Yeah, I need to do that too. I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. Probably need to do those offline and just upload them. I think I just do this. Shoots mud everywhere, poisons a bunch of people. What about this one? Okay. Gonna pass. I'll just poison a bunch of assholes and see what happens. He's almost dead. Good talk, I guess. He's hitting his own people. I see. They're taking damage from the cage monsters. These guys keep trying to pull me. Push me, and then don't touch me. Ow. Rude. Ow. Oh my god, does that apply slowdown? It does. Rude. Now I have to run in to kill my enemies. You know what? Hit him again. One more time. Okay, one's out. My skill orders are messed up. Whoop. Much better. I can move again. Is it my birthday? It might be. Take that. Now I can come over here. And I can hit these fools. And then move back. Pass. What's this guy do? Okay, he does a 457 damage, casual. Nice. Dies to poison. Scrub. None of our allies are engaged. Guess we'll go take care of the enemies with bolt. Up weapons. That guy, I guess. Reload. Kill that dude. He's going next. Kill that guy. Good talk. Reload. Oh, we got him to 3 HP. Die, scrub. Run in closer. Move in, shoot this guy in the face. And then move back and reposition. I feel like crossbows are super strong. Ow. It's time for me to take the trash down, but that doesn't work until until Saturday because of the holiday. Move in. All of our enemies have so much health. Still one of the coolest sounding effects in the game. Kill this unit. Maybe this archer doesn't have much HP. Just kidding. Just kidding, he does. So headbutt just says the nearest enemy, right? At the end of their turn, deals damage to the nearest target. So if I don't move, I should headbutt this guy. False. That is a bad tooltip. Has to be a melee character. About to say my neck isn't like Inspector Gadget neck, you know what I mean? It doesn't like telescope over to the nearest enemy. What was I thinking? Let's see. I was just reading the tooltip. That's what the tooltip said. Go here. Go here. Ow. That hurt. Knock on these fools. Okay. Over here. Hit this guy. Run through this fool. Come over here. Taunt the archer. Pass. We're almost out of health. Plague infected slaps that dude to another dimension. Let's hit this guy. Getting an attack of opportunity with our friendo. 2 HP. What is it with this guy not being able to kill people? Knock that dude out. Right, this is the last one, right? Ow. Wow. Just enough so that I can't move forward. Rude. Dong that guy. Burn him. Pass. Headbutting him with a 138 damage. Yeah. Attack. Kill.
You've won all 5 fights. Tiltron's special reward
Got a hat.
is all yours.
Oh, my inventory. There we go. What does our purple hat do? Serpent's hat. All of this unit's attacks also apply 1 poison. That's cool. So, theoretically, since this is a light helmet, you could put this hat onto a slayer and then put poison on your weapon and give it the poison belt item for 100% chance to poison. And then every attack applies 1 poison times 2. 10 hits equals 20 stacks equals instant kill. That's 100% maximum health damage to any target. And when you have 25 attacks, you could put 50 poisons on a single unit, killing it 5 times over. Unless it's a plague ridden and then you heal it for a bit, like 1 billion damage. So there you go. If you don't want to do physical damage, if you want to poison something to death, every hit, double poison. Every hit, 2 poisons. That's pretty strong. Kind of goofy. I kind of want to make that. It would literally take me 2 seconds. Boop. Craft. Poisonous oil times 2. Poisonous concentrate. Put this belt item on. Put this poison on your weapon. So now every hit applies 2 poisons to an enemy. We must test this. We also need to level up the helmet. But we'll do that later. What is your things here? Colossal of the Falcon. Okay. So now, ooh, we get the crit hit, crit damage node. Hell yeah. Who am I putting that beast on? Look at it, it's so sexy. Tastes good. Tastes delicious. It's amazing.
If you want to send your...
I gotta test this. Plague Charmer. Confirm. You need to be Bragg. You need to be somebody else. Say go. Alright, we're testing to see if I can kill this unit straight up with any amount of damage. You can't be hit by rats. You can't be hit by plague ridden. You can't be hit by either. And you can't be hit by rats. Okay. Interesting. And right click, look and see. I can hit both enemies here. Let's move. Hit him again. Kill him. Do not let them go. Run back and be a coward. How far can this thing move? Great. So this guy's gonna move forward, and if it's far enough for Bragg to get to him, it'd be very interesting. You're just shy, buddy boy. Just kidding. Perfect. All right. So I'm gonna run up. Let's just throw some poisons on him. 6 poisons. Cool. Thrash. 36 poisons. I think he's dead. I think we're just going to disengage and walk away. Pass. Take your turn now, sucker. Ow, that hurt. Rude. When do you take poison damage? Dot are greatly reduced and can only be triggered at the end of the round. So I don't have to worry about this guy anymore, right? He takes 3,000 damage at the end of his turn. With 36 stacks, it's only 72% of his maximum health. So he only takes 2% maximum health damage for each stack. He's still dead. Plague ridden, and you are rat ridden, and you're gonna get hit next. Getting hit next kills you. He can almost reach, right? He probably can. I feel like he can reach. Bolt. And also, this is brutal. This is the brutal fight, I believe. Maybe not. I don't know. Feels pretty brutal. Reload. Let's stop these rats from ruining my run here. One rat down. Reload. Aim. Kill the rat in the back. Run over here. Shoot this rat in the face. And then this rat hasn't gone. Shoot that one in the face. We're out of movement. Pass. Reload. He goes down here and kills Bragg. Willpower save. Cool. Cool beans. Who's next? This guy's getting attacked next. Okay. This guy can't be attacked by rats. And this guy can't be engaged. Right? You can be engaged. Okay. Cool. Take this unit. Disengage. Re-engage. Engage. Taunt. Reducing his damage. Pass. Okay. Disengages. Attacks him. Poisons everybody. Okay. Dude dies for 3,700 damage from poison. He had 40 stacks of poison on him. For 80% of his maximum health. On an elite, that's not bad. Disengage. Got the attack of opportunity. Got the kill. Over here. Attack. Kill. Pass. Frag. Finish him off. Eight poisons. Poison build could be very interesting.
I haven't got a reward for you, miss.
Okay. We did that on normal, not brutal.
What?
Okay. My inventory's messed up. So yeah, I think I've pretty much done all the stuff that I've wanted to do. I don't know if I want to do the pit fights. That's a lot of work. I think I would need to get my Gelmar one-handed sword build running in order to do some of these pits. And the brawler's cool, but I don't think this weapon is a good fit for him, because we just don't have enough strength at level 17 to fight enemies, because they all have way more strength than I do. I have to test it on a normal fight though. Brawler's class is pretty cool, but I think this ability to taunt enemies off, guaranteeing a crit, isn't good enough to justify fully going brawler. I've pretty much done everything in this run. I think it'd probably be more beneficial, instead of spending time finishing off like 100% of this run, I think starting my next run would be interesting, and doing guide videos would be more helpful. Because most of the fun in this game is right at the beginning, when you're weak as hell and you're losing people left and right. At this point, with an overpowered group, it's less entertaining, I think. What do you guys think? Because my next major run is going to be XCOM 2. It's going to be a long war with a bunch of mods. And we have a bunch of custom units in there. We have like 84 mods going in that run. So we'll have like Titanfall mechs. We're going to have Witcher, Geralt, Witcher Ciri. We're going to have 40k Deathwatch in there. We're going to have Duke Nukem's going to be in there. We're going to have a lot of crazy units. It's going to be wild. So I think what I'll do is wrap this run up. Unless there's more stuff you guys want to see, in which case make requests, and I'll try to get on and do them. Like the requests from someone in the comments was to go through all of my characters, and we did that at the beginning of this stream. And if there's something you guys want to see, I can continue doing this run and work on those things. But I think from a time perspective and an entertainment's perspective, I think it'd be better to do a new run. And I'm excited for the next DLC coming out, because it's either going to be this area. It's probably going to be this area, to be honest. There's no other paths. There's a path that goes to an empty place right here. And there's a path right here at the top of Skelmar. So I think it's going to be this area next. Alternatively, where would they put another zone? There's no way to put a zone over here unless it's like an island, right? And they have no exit points in Ludern. So I think the next DLC is going to be Edoran. because there's no other exit points. There's an exit point here. There's an exit point here. And I think they're going to connect in one large area right here. That makes the most sense to me. It might be like right here. Maybe all this. And then they'll probably put another area right there in a later DLC. I don't see any other place for them to stick a zone besides right here. I'll keep looking at doing build guides, and I want to do a tips video, and I do want to do a fief video. The fief is wild, man. I'll probably do an overview on fief, like what all the benefits of it are, and should you buy the DLC. And then how to automate your fief so that it doesn't require babysitting. Because there's a specific thing you need to do at the very beginning of the game, and that is to follow the quest line until you unlock the Mercenaries Inn. And once you unlock the Mercenaries Inn, the job board is going to have like 2 missions with a single unit that is required. And those are the first 2 units you want to unlock. And then once you start doing those, you'll get fief coins. And then you'll use those coins to recruit people. And now that we can remotely put people in, like we don't need Tharwill. So we can just drop him right in. But you could recruit people for those roles, throw them in the fief, do the missions, and eventually you'll make enough money that you can recruit people for fief coins.
I won quite a few fights in the tavern. You can count on me.
And this value increases and decreases on the size of your party. Assassin,
Thank you for following.
Thank you. Assassin Brew, I appreciate that. Thank you. And if you guys have any questions about Wartales, feel free to ask. The game is massive. It's a lot of fun. It's probably one of the best sandboxes out there. And I'm looking forward to the next DLC. I'm definitely going to pick it up. Hopefully I can get it for a reduced cost.
Wares, my good sirs.
Hopefully when it comes out, they'll have like a 20% off or whatever. And I feel like they're always having deals on Wartales stuff, like every other month. We have this thing again where it's a single soldier, a single guard. Look at this guy. Is he level 1?
You are wanted for a number of crimes. We will not let you go until you have paid the fines you owe.
How did I get level 17?
Personally,
I'll show you.
I'm just doing my job.
So it is literally a level 1 unit in this level 17 world. She's like, stop. It's time to go to jail. And my troop of 35 people stare back at her. So the maximum level in the game is 15. Unless you have fief. If you have the fief DLC, you can do more. And I'll show you here in just a second. Hammy, this one's all you, buddy. 550 to that level 1 unit. Gallum Mafia. Hello. Ooh, nice helmet. 3-star helmet too, level 1. What's going on? Just found Wartales, been playing it for a while. Will I be able to play Skalmar as a new game right away? On region locked. Do you have the Skalmar DLC? Because if you do, you can go there. I'm not sure what the level of Skalmar is on region locked. But if you want to go there right away, I'd recommend adaptive. Back to Assassin's question. How do you get level 17? Well, let me dodge these guys real quick. If you go to the Fief, after you have captured a level 16, 17, 18, whatever unit you want, you can go to the Fief. You can go to the Mercenaries Inn. You can put all your people into the Fief after you've taken that prisoner and freed him into your troop. So how do you convert the prisoner? You convert the prisoner by giving him a haircut with a barber's kit. Feed him like 18 toothpastes. Give him a job to do in the camp, like tanning leather or brewing or something. Just give him a job to do. Feed everybody at rest, and you should get a prompt after you rest for him to join your troop. Once you have that level 16 plus unit, you take everybody from your troop, put them into your garrison, so that you have just the freed prisoner left at whatever level. And then, if you have the militia barracks, you can talk to the Master at Arms.
My lord, as your new Master at Arms,
and train a companion.
To personally take part in your companions' training. I will be relentlessly strict with them. With me, they will always know who's boss.
Once you have removed all your units except for the level 16, 17, 18 unit, your average level of your group will be that unit's level. At that point, you come in here, you just pick who you want to level, confirm, and it'll tell you he will go up to whatever level that unit is. And it will cost 750 beef coins and 200 crowns per unit that you want to level to 17. And you just hit confirm, instantly levels them to 17. And you can also do that with your animals. If you go into your stable, you put your animals in the stable.
Would you like to entrust one of your animals to me? Don't worry a bit.
You can train the stable animals.
I'll take good care of all your
to level
beasts,
17 for the
no
same
matter
amount.
how exotic.
So if you have like a bear or something, throw the bear into your stable, train it up to whatever level, and then confirm, and then you pull it back. It'll have aptitude points up to that level. Do I think the game is harder on region locked or adaptive? The game is harder on adaptive because as you level, the game levels with you. But the benefit of being on adaptive is that you can start in any zone at the starting locations. When you start your game, you'll have an option with an arrow. It'll say Tiltron County. You can hit the arrow, start in Vertruse or Arthas or wherever. And another benefit of adaptive is that you can start in Tiltron. You can start here, right? and you can immediately run to another zone to pick up recipes and things like that you can afford. If you want certain food items or certain oils, you can run immediately to that location and do them, or do contracts in that area until you can afford the things that you want immediately off the bat. So yeah, there's a benefit to adaptive that region locked can't have, because region locked has set levels for each zone. Like the zone you start in is level 1 to 4. The next 2 zones are going to be 5 to 8. So you start the game with adaptive disable. I mean, if you're learning the game, region locked is fine because you'll be learning the systems. But once you know the systems and how the game works, do adaptive, because it's a lot more freedom. Like, you don't have to do the zones in any particular order. If you want to go do Pirates of Balerion at level 1, you can do that. If you want to go do, Vertruse at level 1 to get that axe from the tomb, you can do that. And everything scales to your level. A thing about adaptive is, as you go through the game and you get further in, eventually you're going to start fighting enemies that are 1 level higher and up to 50% more of your troop size. So if you have 20 people by the end game, you'll be fighting 30 enemies, maybe 1 level higher than you, depending on your difficulty. What I've noticed is experienced is pretty much your level or 1 above. Expert, which is what I'm on now, is 1 to 2 levels above you. And that's your average group level. So when I was at level 13, I was fighting level 15 enemies. And I was also fighting 50% more of my group. So by level 13, I was up against level 15 enemy troops with like 40 plus units every fight. And if you're on adaptive, you can have like a 12-person party and only fight 18 enemies 1 level above you. Whereas if you're on region locked at the end game, you'll be fighting 30 plus units with that same group of 12. So there's a positive and a negative. And another thing about region locked is, if you get above the level of the zone you're in, it's very possible you can go to the next zone and it would be the same level or lower than you. So there's a benefit to both. Region locked is a more like structured introduction, where as you go through the zones, you gradually go to another zone that is within the next tier of levels. Adaptive, you don't have that problem. You just kind of go wherever you want and explore the game at your leisure. But region locked is nice because Tiltron is an excellent starting zone, and that's where you start. And you pretty much get all the basics out of the way in Tiltron. Yeah, if you're level 15 or 14, you'll find level 16 enemies eventually. But if you're newer to the game, the three DLCs I recommend is Tavern, Pirates of Balerion, Gelmar, in that order. The Beast Hunt is okay, but I beat the Beast Hunt in 1 live stream, so it was like a 4 or 5 hour session, and I beat all that. And the items here are T6. They're the highest level items in the game, but they all revolve around using one another, and it requires killing the beast like 6 or 7 times to unlock all of those weapons. The Thief is okay. You can do a lot of really crazy broken shit with the Thief. It used to be even more broken, but they made it less ridiculous. And with a fief, you can remove traits, you can copy units, you can copy weapons, armor, shields, helmets. You can copy animals, you can copy straight up units. Like you can copy your best builds 3 or 4 times over. If you find a 3-star, 3-socket armor, level 15, that's, you know, got the best stats you can find, you can just duplicate it for a couple 100 coins. Like money crowns, not fief coins. And you can also research sepulchres if you don't want to do that system at the fief, and you can also learn positive traits on people at the fief so that you can give those to other units. Kind of wild. This run was a lot of fun. I lost a lot of units in this run. And we're like 145 hours into this run. Pretty wild. And I like that even when you play a game like this, it's so different every single time you run it. I appreciate you've been watching my vids and my stream popped up. I have a group of 7 around level 4. We did Virtue Children, and you just started the Skalmar DLC. Nice. Awesome. Are you on region lock? If you are, what is the level of the Skalmar enemies? Oh, by the way, if you haven't done this already, if you're newer to the game, make sure to go into your options. Go to accessibility and change your highlight color from that weird gray to like a deep red or something that isn't going to mess with you. And you can also adjust the thickness of that outline. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if I come in here to the guard, oh no, oh no, oh no, no, not like this, not like, damn it.
You are wanted for a number of crimes. We will not let you go until you have paid the fines you owe. Don't take it personally. I'm just doing my job.
It sucks. We are tired. We have 30% reduced damage. Balls. I think it's fine. I hope it's fine. All right, we're going to start with Nimra, I think. You can only get 4 enemies. Damn. What over here? Only 4? Ugh, only 4. Balls. Alex, I was watching a short about Wartales. They said you could just surrender one of your people if you wanted to. Yeah, but I feel like that's cheesy. I like to play the game as intended. I feel like some of those kind of tips Even though they're like ideal, I feel like they're cheesy. Over here, we're gonna taunt this guy. Stab him. Stab him. Pass. The most enemies that you can have I think is the most deployed units you can have is 40. You can have 40 fighters. After that, they go into reserve, similar to the reinforcements here. Only you have a little window over here that allows you to pick and choose who you want to be in the first round, and then the rest you can just reinforce as the rounds go on. So the maximum size of your troop is unlimited. You can have any number of units in your troop, but you can only field 40 units. And the rest go into reserve until the second round. Come here. Aim. Hit all 6. Again, we have reduced damage and stats. Guess we'll run over here. Tactical order. All these enemies are slowed down, knocked back. Battle Rat. Hell yeah. Get him, Battle Rat. My rat is now confused. Maybe come here. Bring these guys to me. Kill them all. We dodged. We have no damage. Over here, we'll taunt this guy. Remember, I'm here. Yeah, hit these 4. Hit him again. Crunch. Love it when they go boom. Here. Run through these guys. Yeah, sure, pass. Go over here. Listen for it. That sounds so good. Yeah. Over here. Steel slam. Headbutt. Axe my rat. That's rude. Siri. Not you, girl. Let's see. What can I do to save Mr. Rat? Ooh. Right, in this series, have you done the Pendulum of the Ancients? Are the treasures worth searching in the map? It depends on what you think is worth it. So, the Pendulum rewards are camp items that your people can gather around for passive bonuses like increased experience, increased damage, just weird stuff. Have you ever let someone from your troop die? Yes, many people have died. Many people have died this run. And letting them die, I wouldn't say is what happened. They just couldn't handle it. He's got 20 HP. Killed my rat, you son of a bitch! Speaking of dying. You killed my rat! My plague rat. Let's see. Over here. Punch this guy. 6 poisons. He's dead. Good talk. Over here. Get a lizard. I've played with the lizards. They are okay. Nice crit. Lizards often smack your own people quite a bit. They often hit your own troops. And saber-tooths, once you get their ultimate ability, they become like their own little team. And they can attack you or the enemy. And if you have a hunter that gets beast passives, that hunter can get the saber-tooth ability to become his own team member. And then your animals can turn and kill your beastmaster. I've had that happen to me. Terrible. Do not recommend. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Over here, we're going to attack, disengage, re-engage, disengage, re-engage, disengage. Okay. Really need to go on to Twitch and fix all those bot messages. Pass. I haven't done Dark Age Camelot or Auto Hotkey in a while. Yes, please take away all of my armor. Yes. Let's try this out. Because now, this unit can do this. Nice. Yeah, that's fine. Let's get Vitarat over here to take on this guy. We will Shield slam. Crit. Pass. Okay. You've managed up to last up to 1 hour in the same fight, repeating it over and over until nobody dies. Well, I'm on Ironman, so anything that I do is 100% how it's... That's just it. Whatever happens in this game is just how it goes. So, I've been enjoying Ironman runs in Wartales. Adds to the replayability. Got an intervention. 69 damage. Nice. Attack. Pass. This unit will come over here. This is my assassin. Backstab. Sure, I guess. We'll let him run. You're leaving. You are so kind. Thank you for answering your questions. You're welcome, Assassin Brew. If you have any more questions, jump over to my YouTube. I have a whole playlist with any of the videos. Just click on one of those, leave a comment, and I can answer your questions to the comments. Or if you want to join the Discord, you can join the Discord as well. I can throw that in the chat for you. And I have a Wartales channel in that if you want to jump in. Here's the Discord. So if you have any questions about Wartales, you can just ask in there. There's a couple people in there and myself, and I pretty much answer all the questions I can. Man, with this Mariner build, I can't repair my gear at a town anymore. Because this guy has to have 0 armor in order to do his big spinny attack. Before you go, and what I was trying to tell you about previously, is the highlight color is like a light gray. And you can change the highlight color when you hit Alt so that you can see things more clearly in the options here under accessibility. So I recommend you go in there, you change it to like red or some bold color that you can actually see. And then you can also adjust the thickness as well. I like it super thick. And then I also recommend changing under general the animation speed to max. And that'll speed up your movement in combat, your kill animations, your crazy animations for every single thing that you do. It speeds it up by like 25-30%, and I think it'll save you hours of gameplay, especially if you want to get into the end game. So those are a couple recommendations I highly recommend. Equipment from combat. Strength by 20%. Get movement. Ooh. Ooh. Let's make some breaded sausage now that we got it. Yeah, it's a huge difference, Assassin. And thanks for stopping by the stream, man, and chit-chatting with me for a little bit. I appreciate you.
A fresh soul has joined the Ethereal Legion.
Assassin! Wow. Sub on Twitch. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. You're incredible. I appreciate it. Breaded sausage, is this it? Yeah, +2 movement. Let's make some of them, a lot of these. I want to see what the delicious version looks like. I believe it's +3 movement. Maybe you can't get the delicious version. Because I didn't get one. Rude. Increase our willpower by 2. Defense bonuses. Fit of Rage, increasing critical hit damage. +2 movement in combat. And then my poor plagued rat's body weighs 10 pounds. That is insane. It's a rat, bro. It's a 10-pound rat. Hey, we got an unaltered coat. Nice. Grab that. I guess we'll put this rat body. Actually, we'll put the human body on there and we'll bury our rat. Sir Terrorist Captain things will finally change around here. He's not the type to forget his friends. My wages are sure to double. Sure, flatter. Getting good with the captain, you brown-nosing son of a bitch. Unlock this. I guess I could negotiate with the guards, but I like highwaymen. Get this out of here, put these in. Oh my god. Not a level 1 guard.
For a number of crimes.
I don't know why this keeps happening, but I find it so damn funny that a level 1 solo unit guard out here just trying to enforce the peace against some of the hardest mercenaries in the region. Doodles. Two-star armor level 1. Do you have to get to level 3 spells path to open those locations to ask for a password? Are you talking about the Pits DLCs? Because that's the only one that asks for a password. Are you asking about... You have to get level 3 on the skulls path to open locations to ask for... You're talking about this. The Crime and Chaos, I believe. And the locations that ask for a password are the Pits DLC. Where I was fighting in the arenas. And you have to buy that DLC if you haven't already. And if you have the Pits DLC, you have to go to the starting point, which is here in Arthas County. So if you have the Pit DLC and you haven't gone to Arthas to this location, that's where you do it. Okay. You were asking about Crimes and Chaos. So Crimes and Chaos, at level 4, you get access to the black market and its agents, which are in like bandit layers that you have purged or other locations where there's like a camp. Black market will appear in those locations, like slaver camps and stuff like that you've liberated. We'll have a black market guy. And faking innocence, if you go into your camp and look at your banner, there is a thing here that says faking innocence. And that allows you, if you're wanted, to pass off as like a normal person. An inconspicuous person. So if you have like a wanted status like I do of 500, I can click faking innocence. And now the guards are no longer hostile to me unless I get really close to them. So if I get too close to the guards, they'll see something is up. Like, see, this card is not hostile, but if I hover next to them too long, they'll get suspicious and question me. So it allows you to kind of bypass the guard when you're wanted. So it allows you to do things like attack caravans constantly and things like that. But every time you rest, that influence cost on your banner skill goes up if you use it rest after rest after rest. So you have to give it like 3 or 4 rests, and that value will come back down to 100. That's how your banner system works. You spend influence for various buffs, like fatigue reduces faster, sale price of items that you've crafted for 50% more, collect resources if you go to a new area. This one's great, but you'll be picking up stuff all the time like candy. Knowledge increase. If you need XP knowledge in the early game, you can use influence to boost the number of knowledge points you get. Swift progress is your experience in combat is increased by 30%. And if you need temporary weight, you can do 50 carrying capacity for until you rest. All these bonuses last until you rest. And you can also change your flag to whatever pattern you want. If you like making patterns on flags and stuff. Yeah, I'm not really working towards any goal right now, so I don't know. This is like my 3rd time. I've done the game 100% in a region locked run. I've done the game 100% in an adaptive run. And I've almost done the game, I'd say probably 90% in an expert run. And theoretically, each one of these paths that you reach level 12 in, once you've done all the events to unlock all 12, you get a credit roll, which we've already gotten for Power and Glory and Trades and Craftsmanship. So I could do Mysteries and Wisdom, but those items, they're okay. If you want to see what those look like, I can show you real quick. Because someone was asking about the Mysteries and Wisdom stuff. When was it? Where is my other run? This one. So I believe in this load, I have all of the Mystery and Wisdom bonuses. This is my 100% run. I've pretty much done everything that I cared to do in the game. I didn't do things like hard mode Roost or anything like that. So Mysteries and Wisdom gives you these items here. There's a 5th one. Where's that one at? This. So Astral Instrument gives you after a rest, companions next to the instrument will start their next fight with 2 times the movement. So you have to like camp people next to this thing to give them inspiration at the start of a fight. Cradle of Souls gives, this unit will consume no food at the next rest. So you can use the Cradle of Souls on things like bears and things like that are, animals that consume a lot of food. You can just pile them around this thing and they'll cost no food. You could just pay off the guards, Alex. Or you could send somebody to jail and then go buy them back. That will reduce your suspicion to 0. And then you just go build it back up again. You literally could go get 600 suspicion, turn one of your people in, go bail him out, go do more crime, go bail that guy back out. You could just even hire someone from the tavern to be the fall guy instead of one of your main troops. Just go hire a newbie. Be like, hey, how's it going? We just need somebody to sit in jail for us. And they'll be like, sure, cool. Just throw him to the wolves. He might hate you after a while, but it's fine. Cradle of Souls consumes no food on the next rest when companions rest next to it. Crystal Skull. Call out to Indiana Jones here. Companions start their next rest with Offensive Elation, which is damage of the next attack increased by 25%. You can get that on food, so that's not a big deal. Musical Automaton. Companions will get Defensive Elation, damage taken of the next attack reduced by 35%. Cool. And Solar System, which increases the willpower until next rest. By 1. So that's what the Mysteries and Wisdom give you. And you can use the little pendulum while moving, by the way. So if you click on the pendulum, you can actually run around the map with it swinging. That's what she said. Give me the Pirates of the Balerion loading screen, please, because that is the best one. They're okay. I mean, hey, got what she was asking for. Nice. Beautiful. It's just flavor. They're not really that great. Especially for like how you find them and stuff. I don't have the pendulum on this account right now, but if you go to, where is it? There. Let's go there real quick. If you get the pendulum, you can click on the pendulum down here where the camp icon is, and it'll pull up a little bar, and as you move around, that bar will sway. And the closer you get to your target, the less it will sway. And the point is to get it directly still in the center. And that will give you what you need. But yeah, like I was saying, I can go in here, go to the tavern real quick.
Might she be looking? Here is your reward.
Like my money. Grab this, grab this, grab that. Talk to you.
Life in Gothenburg is much too quiet.
Recruit. Levels. This guy recruits at level 15 now. Nice. And we can just name this guy, Fall Guy or whatever. And then when we find our next guard and we talk to them, we can just turn that guy in. It was his fault we did all the crime. And then we don't have to worry about it no more. We're heading towards the jail anyway, so I believe it's down here. Yeah, the jail is down here as well. So if we find any guards, we'll tell them that it wasn't our fault. We were coerced by the new guy. And then our wanted status will go away, and then we can go pick that guy up later. About to need to rest. Grab all the food. Rest. Great. Technically, I should be managing my tavern and my fief at this point, but I have not wanted to do that right now.
Oh, here come our new members. It's a pleasure to meet you in person.
Okay.
Welcome to the Fellowship of Knowledge. We are a group of scholars and like-minded individuals who dedicate our lives to researching ancient artifacts. We are united by our common quest for knowledge. As I like to do for all new members, I have a welcome gift for you. Yours is this amazing ancient pendulum and its instructions. We haven't quite managed to unlock its secrets yet, but I am certain you will be able to. Your reaction is perfectly natural. Who wouldn't be amazed by ancient technology? Well then, don't let me keep you. It's time for you to take your first steps on the path of archaeology. Find so many exciting adventures, don't you think? That's another facet of the Fellowship of Knowledge.
All right.
If you have any
I
antiquities,
was already in powder.
I had to run.
You don't have anything for me. Okay. So now I have the pendulum. So now I can just run around the map with the pendulum. But the problem is the pendulum locks your camera. So if I decided to use the pendulum, I can keep moving, but I can only look in the area where the pendulum is. And sometimes you can find random loot hidden around the world. Like if I do it here, maybe I can find something next to this building. Nope. I found a couple items just randomly in the world. But the chance of you finding something that way is very, very slim. Where are all the guards? There's some. Hey guards, come talk to me. Wages due, 1900. So we talk to the guards.
You are wanted for a number of crimes. We
So
will not let you go until you have
can
paid
pay
the fines you owe. Don't take it personally. I'm just doing my job.
We can do 4,700, 3,300, or we can say Clout has been handed over to the guard. And that was just a random suggestion. But if we have crimes and chaos, we can do scapegoats. So we can choose who, instead of it being a random member. So if we get negotiate, we can spend influence to negotiate with the guard. And then if we get scapegoats, we can choose the same guy to be our scapegoat every time. But luckily, we got a random roll, and the new guy went to jail for us. And then we just go to the jail. I guess it might... Nope, there he is.
Finally! Do you have any idea how long I've been...
Recruit him for 80 gold.
Finally!
Betrayed. This companion feels they have been betrayed. You just get him back. You just keep throwing him in jail, I guess. I don't know what this leads to, but it could be interesting. And in knowledge, if you end up having units that hate each other, like this, you could have the two enemies insult one another, and we gain sociopath. And the sociopath trait deals increased damage per negative relationship that they have. And there's a glitch where if you get this trait and then have 0 negative traits, your damage does like hundreds of thousands of damage because of the -0 rule in mathematics. So the way that they calculated this is if your relationship statuses are 0, the bonus is like 50,000 or some crazy number. And people are using that to break the game where their units are like, instead of dealing like 27 damage with a dagger, they're dealing like 11, or they're dealing like 111,000 or some trash. There's crazy ways to break the game, and I try not to play like that because that's less fun. Because once you have a build, you know, that's super overpowered, like the 100% critical chance Ulfark build that I made. I mean, a unit that can kill 25 plus enemies every single round. The game can get kind of stale after that. So, making units that can kill 8 to 12 enemies at a time, that feels pretty good. But when they can kill like over half the enemy troop, and the only thing that stops them is because they can't move anymore, feels pretty wild. I mean, the unit could literally do unlimited damage. As long as he dealt over 300 damage, he could heal himself back to full HP. And with a crit, that ain't hard to do. And I have a build guide for that on my channel, for anybody that wants it. Keep an eye out for groups or contracts in the taverns that have
Might
gold
you be
borders.
looking for work?
Every once in a while, there's going to be like a unique contract with like a golden border. I think there's at least one in each area. And those contracts give you special upgradable items.
Stand back, peasants.
I'm not talking about the gold borders like this guy here. I'm talking about contracts with golden borders. Like it'll show a picture of the person, It'll be like the old crone gang or whatever. Defeat the old crone with a yellow order, signifying that it's a unique contract. You want to do those because they drop unique rare weapons that are not legendary, but they are upgradable. And you can make specific builds with each of those weapons. Let's see if I have it in this one.
Might she be looking for work?
No, I don't have it here. But if I look at my map, maybe I have one. I know I killed the crone in Ludern. Usually kill the crone. Assassinate, assassinate, vanquish. Every once in a while you'll see like a unique name. I don't know if I have any left. But they'll give you, like even the borders will show you on these little icons that'll be yellow. Do I have any? Maybe not. I gotta go fight that guy eventually. But if I go to my travel post, I can show you what they look like. Some of these weapons. Some of them are... I think it's in Mount Ultras. So we got this, Joris. It's a picture of a person with a yellow border. Yeah. So things like Joris I got from one location, one guy. It's got a wrist breaker skill, which is the only weapon in the game, I think, that applies disarm. So it deals damage to the target. If you crit, it disarms the target, which removes their weapon and makes them unable to do anything. Another weapon that we found was... Where are those daggers that I had? Don't think I still have them on me. Definitely don't. There was a dagger with a Rain of Daggers skill. It allows you to throw up to 3 daggers and disengage. What do I do with that? I have no idea. I have no idea where that went. Yeah, no clue. Weird. But that's the guy in Tiltron is the Rain of Daggers guy. It throws 3 daggers at the nearest enemies, and then it disengages. Then we got Joris. There's some other ones too. But I think there's one in each zone. And the contract usually shows up after you've done several contracts. I think it's a chance to roll. Never did the Cursed Village of Circe. Once you go to every location in a zone, the entire map gets revealed, which is what happened to down here. That's why there's no black areas here. Same thing for Tiltron. Or not Tiltron. County of Arthas. You can see up here at the top, it shows you locations discovered and locations completed. Once you have completed all locations, your map lights up. And you get the little check mark. There's no other locations in here, right? Independent State. So that's already all lit up. I think once you go to the inn, it lights all this up. The inn, the arena, and the border crossing, everything lights up. We're missing 3 locations in Tildren. One of them is the Bandit Lair. One of them is this rat infestation, probably. Not sure where else. But yeah. Wartales is awesome. I've had a lot of fun with it. I've been playing it pretty much non-stop for like four months now. And I think it's time to take a break. And I think I'll do my next run when the DLC finally comes out here in a couple weeks. It's supposed to be out in the 4th quarter, and we're coming up on the end of that in December, so hopefully they will give us a sneak peek of what's to come soon, but I'm fairly positive it's going to be the Ediranian area over here. It's going to connect Ormans County to Drombak County. So if you don't have the DLC, you can enter through Drombak, and if you do have the DLC, you can enter from either. It's going to be this area right here. And then they'll probably have an additional DLC for this area. I don't know how much longer they're going to continue adding on to the world here, but it should be fun. When you start, it seems very basic. There is a lot of stuff to uncover. Yes. The game gets... Think of it like a mushroom? No. Think of it like a bush. You know, the bush starts at the very bottom in a single stem, and then as you go out, you learn more and more things, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it mushrooms into this huge cloud of stuff. Each zone is unique. Each faction is unique. Some fight types are better than others. Like the darkness fights kind of suck when you first start playing. The Cursed Villages fights suck when you first start playing. But as your understanding of how everything works grows, and how like you can do some crazy shit in combat, it gets better. But yeah, don't be afraid to experiment in a game like this, because it's definitely built for that. And there's still a lot of builds out there that people haven't figured out with some of these crazier items. I mean, I still learn stuff all the time, and I've been playing this game for 4 months, and I've 100% of the game twice, and I still learn new things. So, lots to learn. Anyway, guys, it's about time for me to put my son to bed. I appreciate you guys stopping by and chit-chatting with me. I appreciate Assassin for the sub on Twitch. That's amazing. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, just head over to the YouTube, message me on Twitch or on the Discord, and I will help you as best I can and get you that information that you're looking for. I have to go. Zaku, Alex, Assassin, Brew, I appreciate all you guys coming in and hanging out with me tonight. Y'all are incredible. And Bruce, I also appreciate you stopping in and leaving some messages. Evident. All you guys are fantastic. Good night. Happy Thanksgiving. You too, Alex. Thanks for everything. You're welcome, Zaku. You guys are great. Y'all have a wonderful night, and kick ass in Wartales. I'll see you guys in the next stream. It'll probably be XCOM 2. And if you haven't seen what's coming up in XCOM 2, let me give you a sneak peek real quick. Here's XCOM 2. This is a sneak peek of our run.
60 seconds.
We'd need an army to march in there right now.
Excitement continues to build as
Just a sneak peek at some of the characters that will be joining us for our run in XCOM 2. Hope you look forward to it. I'll see you there after Thanksgiving. We're going to have Titans. We're going to have Cirilla, Witcher 3. I'll have Geralt, Witcher 3. Titans from Titanfall. Doom Guy, Fred 104, Mandalorian, Nova, 40k Deathwatch Artemis, Kitty Cat, Duke Nukem, Master Chief, Halo, the dev team for XCOM 2. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching. Yeah, don't forget to like. So that should be a lot of fun. Those are just the custom classes that, or the custom units that I pulled from online. And I'll probably get even more as the build goes on. But it should be a lot of fun. And if you guys want to submit custom units like you do in Wartales over in that game, you can do that as well. Just let me know in the comments. I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time on the channel. Have a great night.